Hello, everyone. And here we are again. It's Wednesday. It's just past 8 o'clock. And it's
Crackerjack. Sorry.
Episode 28. 78. Well, it could be 20.
28.
78. Episode 78. And here we are again. Here he is, the man himself, Delboy.
Benny Hill. I thought you were going to say Benny Hill.
So, you know the normal question. You're almost telepathic now. What have you been watching this week?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just there's so many things in that intro that I've got to say. First of all, it's like I kept thinking it's 5 to 5 and it's Crackerjack, you know. And then the other thing was, and here he is, the man himself, and then it's Benny Hill. There were so many lines in there that were like on TV. It was unreal, really. What I must admit, I still haven't quite got round, guys, to watching stuff on physical media because just purely I'm looking after my mum, and there's been a small change even today. There's a little change that's going on in my life at the moment, and that I've just been explaining to my good friend Ian here, in the fact that it looks very much like I might be putting my mum to bed every night now, every night of the week. And that means that for this particular stream, what it would mean is that I might have to go away and then come back at 9 o'clock. And depending on how tired my mum is, it might be 8:15 or 8:30. So please bear with me. But by the time I'm back, the whole thing's done because the door's locked. There's no lights to think about. There's no waiting for taxis, no buses, all of that sort of stuff. So it'll probably be okay. But the question was, what have I been watching? And I'll tell you what, I've watched some good quality stuff this week that I've forgotten all about. So the first thing I watched on Thursday last week was Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise. And I forgot that he'd won an Oscar for that. And, you know, it's about him being in a wheelchair and coming back and him wishing that he was dead and all of this sort of stuff. And that, you know, it's a really, really strong performance. And I haven't looked at my collection, but I'm wondering to myself, have I actually got that film? Because it's like it's sort of like the same sort of quality as like The People versus Larry Flint and all of those type of films, you know, The Doors and all of that. They were really strong drama-y type films when drama was really heavily being pushed, if you see what I mean. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I haven't thought about that film in years. And I'm going to look because I think that would be one that would be, key in my collection to go with my JFK collection that I got from the States last year. I got the big collector's book that's still not released over here, by the way, guys, the JFK collection, the American one, the one that comes like 6 discs in a box like this, right? And over here, I have no idea why. A film that was on last night, and it was just as I was falling asleep, was Vincent Price's The House on Haunted Hill, and I haven't seen that film in about 15 years. Have you seen that film, Vincent Price, The House on Haunted Hill?
But a long time ago.
Absolutely marvelous, spooky film, you know, where he's a playboy sort of like millionaire type guy. He's got a wife that sort of like has tried to kill him in the past. He's got a house and he's invited these 5 guests to this house and said, if you can survive through the night, I'll give you $10,000. $10,000. It's a really good it's only about 72 odd minutes, but I had a ball watching it. I don't know why. I just had probably because of Vincent Price. Be quite honest.
Always.
He could read out the yellow pages and I'd be bloody
you would be in it.
Enthralled. I'd be saying, oh, go on, Vincent, what's on page 4? You know, I'd be like this. You know what I mean? So that what's been on ITV this week has been the Cornetto trilogy, funnily enough. So it started off on Monday with Shaun of the Dead. It went on to Hot Fuzz, and it was Land's End, you know, the world's end yesterday. And it was quite nice to watch them all in order. And it's at 9 o'clock at night on the same each night going through for 3 days. It was nice. I think what's intriguing to see about that is how Simon Pegg has changed through them. You know, he's in a horrible, despicable place with the last film, which is not my favorite. I mean, that's pretty poor. It's a pretty poor film, The World's End. But he's got a horrible character. But when you look at Shaun of the Dead, you're sort of in two minds. Do you feel sorry for this guy, or is he just a bit of a shit because he's terrible to his girlfriend, or is he that type of person that's a bit like Peter Parker, Spider-Man? You know, he can't do right for wrong. You know, something goes right, something else goes wrong. If he wants to go out with his girlfriend, something else happens that stops him. All of that sort of stuff, which is beyond his control, and so he just looks like a git.
Yeah.
And then you've got the middle one, Hot Fuzz, and you know, and you've got a policeman that's sort of like down on his luck, and he wants to sort of like do one last case, and there's this sort of like Midsummer Murders type thing going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With more stars in this village than I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, how many actors live in this village? Jesus Christ. I mean, Midsummer Murders, I thought, had a nice guest star list, but Jesus Christ, you got about 15, like, nearly Oscar-winning bloody actors in this bloody village. I mean, it must be the most, it started to look like the Midlands and Beckham's Village or something.
Oh, Beckham.
But that was the Cornetto trilogy. I watched this, I fancied watching this, somebody told me, no, somebody on Facebook was talking about the book Silas Marnia, right? And I haven't read that book in ages. Do you know Silas Marnia? Do you know that book?
I've not read that. No.
Right. So it's a very, very old book. And a film that Steve Martin did called A Simple Twist of Fate is based on that book, right? It's all about a bloke who, well, in A Simple Twist of Fate, Steve Martin's character he's got a wife and all of this sort of stuff, and she buggers off and leaving him with nothing, and he turns into this old miser that lives at the end of the street that everybody turns around and says is the boogeyman. He's a recluse. He keeps himself to himself, and everybody thinks he's a nasty piece of work. And he's hoarding money. He does this work for people. You know, he's a carpenter type thing. And because he used to be a teacher, but he's doing carpentry now. And, you know, his payment is always a gold coin. And then something happens. A woman stumbles through the forest where his house is, and she dies, leaving the little baby that can just about walk. I think it was a toddler of about 18 months, walks into the house. And he finds out that the mother died and decided to keep her. And then she grows up and all of that sort of stuff, and he starts to soften. But then somebody steals all of his coins, and it's at that point that he starts going back into being that. Why is everybody doing this to me, and being a recluse and all that sort of stuff? So it's a very different type of film for Steve Martin. It is a comedy. But it's one of those things that it's directed as well as Roxanne, but didn't do well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a very good film. I've watched that digitally. I've watched it physical media. I ought to send you a copy of it. Actually, I think you'd enjoy it. All depends on what your take of Steve Martin is at a time where. A couple of years later, after Roxanne, he did that film, but after that, he did Parenthood and all of that sort of stuff, which that part of his career, as far as I'm concerned, can go on the fire. You know what I mean?
Really? Wow.
Along with the Pink Panther and all of that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, he did a remake of that, didn't he?
Yeah, all of that Sergeant Bilko, Pink Panther.
Oh no, sacrilege!
Right? No, that he did.
Yeah.
He did the money, or for whatever reason it is, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not things like The Jerk and Man with Two Brains and you know, Roxanne is a bit of a genius film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when he started doing the mainstream stuff, until he did things like Bowfinger, there was very little going on in his life, and I just didn't really get on with his films. He's a talented man. It's just that I don't go for those Sergeant Bilko and Pink Panther and all that sort of stuff. I just go, do you know what? You've turned me off. You know, you're trying to do Peter Sellers. You're trying to do, you know, it's just, it doesn't work for me having Steve Martin do it. It's just not there for me. And the last film was Incredible Shrinking Man, and that was because somebody reminded me in my blog about some films where it involves shrinking a person down, and I decided I'd put The Incredible Shrinking Man on. I haven't seen it for a long time, and I've only got it as a digital release. I haven't got that on DVD or Blu-ray, so I'm going to look that up. So just before I sort of like have to tottle off and everything, I'll just turn the background off, because there have been some things turn up. So a lot of it turned up today, believe it or not, right?
Oh, right.
No, there's this one, Speak No Evil.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Which has not got a fantastic.
It's good. It's quite good.
By any shape or any shape or form, but
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
Then you got the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the anniversary edition that's on a steelbook, which has got a very. Go on.
I'm not as big fan of it, to be honest. You'd have thought.
Well, I saw it. I saw it at the theatre and was part of that participation thing.
So right, yeah.
So to me, it's one of those films where I go, "Oh yeah, I've got to have that." You know, it's not that bad, but it ain't Tommy, is it? I like Tommy more than
If you ask me, pick Tommy.
No, but even as a film, I like Tommy more than Rocky Horror.
It is. It's much better. Much better.
Tommy is far more of a high-end musical than Rocky Horror Picture Show. Rocky Horror Picture Show was made for theatre, so you'd think it would be it would trump Tommy, but Tommy is like a rock opera. I mean, it really is. It really does stand the test of time. Whether Rocky Horror Picture Show stands the test of time in, say, another 40 years, whether we'll be talking about Tommy and whether we'll be talking about Rocky Horror Picture Show, whether people look at them two as being equal, I would say no, Tommy would still trump, I think, Rocky Horror Picture Show. But hey, maybe you've got a different opinion, guys. Tell me, do you think Tommy is a better film? Do you think Rocky Horror Picture Show is a better film? Do you think musically Tommy is better than Rocky Horror, or do you think musically Rocky Horror is better than Tommy? I don't know. Tell me. The 40th anniversary of Clue, the steel books come out, so I'm glad about that because I can get rid of my old one, because that only came out about a year or so ago.
All right.
So that's good. The Fantastic Four finally came through. I think everybody's getting their copy this week of that. That just goes with my Marvel collection. It's a very nice steel book. Don't get me wrong. Look at that. I mean, it's quite nice artwork. Look, better than that Clue and that Speak No Evil. I think it's a better one than that. One that McMahon's already shown off, and that's Return of the Living Dead. I don't know if I showed that last week, but that came through.
Yeah.
So I wasn't quite sure whether I got that last week or whether I got it this week. One that definitely came through this week was Jurassic World Rebirth, which sort of like is the type of film where they say it trounced all over Superman and Fantastic Four in the summer ratings. Everybody seemed to think that that's because Superman and Fantastic Four don't have dinosaurs in it, right? So everybody started to go, yeah, you got to have a dinosaur in a film these days, otherwise you ain't going to get $1 billion. I don't know. The world's open to that one. And then one that you've already got, and you got 2 days before me, and I was there shouting at the screen, going, "You bastard! Why don't you go off and do your Findus Fingers bloody adverts or something, right?" My Doctor Who came through. That was on Monday.
And isn't that great cover? I love it. Absolutely love it. Great.
As far as I know, Denny has heard that there may be some issues with the discs. I told him don't listen to clickbait and all of that sort of stuff.
I haven't heard nothing official.
Yeah, I said to him, look, there was somebody that was turning around and saying you can't play Tron Ares on a Panasonic 820 player from chapter 9 onwards, and mine plays perfect, and I've got the exact same player.
Yeah, exactly.
I think sometimes some people go, "Oh, mine doesn't play, so it must be that," and all of this sort of stuff. Play your own disc, find out for yourself, keep an eye open. Denny was very good and gave me the replacement disc program for the ones that are recognized as having issues. They are discs 18, seasons 18 and 20, as far as I know. No other discs have got problems, as far as I know. So if you have got the collector's edition of 18, if you've got the collector's edition of 20, then please write to the email address that Denny talked about in my blog, and get yourself your proof of purchase or a picture of your box and send that off to the BBC. They're collating at the moment all of people's data, and they're going to be sending the discs out shortly, because the discs have been corrected for the standard Amaray cases.
Oh, right, yeah.
And the disc covers are exactly the same as the collector's ones, which means you've got a choice. You can go out and buy the Amaray case and replace your own discs, or you can ask the BBC and say, "Oi, BBC, give me my bloody replacement disc, please."
I like that.
Right, up to you. But that's everything. And just so you know, it's nearly 20 past, so I'm going to give myself another 5 minutes, and I'm going to let you talk for a minute. But if you see my screen just blank out, Ian, you know I've just gone to go check on my mum.
Okay. First thing I watched, I thought, well, I better start making use of it, was the Disney Plus thing. And I watched a film. I watched a film I had actually seen. I think somebody sent me, I got a download of it. And it's The Menu 2022. Ralph Fiennes stars in it. And one of my favorite actors, Anya Taylor-Joy, is in it. Fantastic film. What can I say about it? It's a brilliant look at so many things. There's a lot going on in that film. And, you know, I always think food, these, you know, Gordon Ramsay kind of restaurants, because he does it, have these stupid plates with hardly note on, you know, and they're all
charge you 60 quid or something. Somebody on the radio this morning said the worst thing they hate about restaurants, I've got to say this because it made me laugh, is you go into a restaurant and you say, I'd like bangers and mash or something, right?
Oh yeah.
And they charge you for the gravy or something, right? It's like, oh, do you want gravy with that? Oh, it'll cost you an extra $5 or something, right?
Yeah.
So this woman was turning around and saying, yeah, so I went into this restaurant and they said, I want bangers and mash. And this bloke turned around and said, go on, you're going to tell me they charged you for the mash. Said, you got the sausages, but you have to pay for the mash for a menu that says bangers and mash. Go on. And I just thought, yeah, that's how restaurants are these days, aren't they? At the moment, it's like everything is like because what she was talking about is when you buy a burger, it's not necessarily going to come with fries. You'll get a certain amount of stuff, and then they'll say the fries are separate. You know, they're a side order, what they call a side order.
Yeah.
If you're going to order burgers, you get it with fries, don't you? You don't expect them to turn around and say, oh no, chips are a side order. Well, what the bloody hell was going to be on my plate then? This little bun with a burger on it, nothing else on the plate, and I had to actually order some fries separate. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, no.
But anyway, carry on. It just amused me though.
Also, it's funny when you get bangers and mash, and then they stick a funny little bit of green bit, a leaf or something on top, and you're thinking, what the hell's that doing there? Yeah, I mean, what? Why have you stuck a little leaf on top of the a load of cobblers? Anyway,
I could just imagine. Hang on, I could just imagine your restaurant, right? There you are, right? You've got your bangers and mash, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you've got your bangers on the top of your mash, right?
Yeah.
And there's a little stick sticking out of it, right?
Yeah.
And instead of a little flag, you've got your salad leaf.
Yeah.
It. As a flag. That'd be at your restaurant. All right.
Oh dear. So I said Menu is a great film, and I always think at the end of the Menu, I always think, wow, that's a tasty burger she's eating on the thing that
yeah.
Herself. It makes me mouth water when I see that, because I think, hey, proper food, proper burger, none of this pretentious nonsense.
They do like to put these sort of like toothpick type bloody pieces of wood all the way through it, though, don't they? They go sort of like
there's
right
that
on
other
top of the
thing.
bun, all the way through the burger, all the way to the end, and you go, "What's that for?"
It's because
to keep
sometimes
it's to keep it together.
And nobody can. You can't get. I thought with a burger, you're supposed to be able to stick it in your mouth. But
wow, yeah,
you need to be like Jaws or something, a big shark. Yeah, open it all up. How can
you see, we cook food to fit our mouths, but the Americans don't, do they? Because
even though they have got big mouths, some of them.
You know what I mean?
Many American people, but
I'll tell you another tip. I'll tell you another tip. If you are interested in going back over the old Marvel stuff, right? The other thing that's worth watching on Disney Plus is certain parts of their films. Certain films have got a part of the film filmed in IMAX, and you can actually watch the IMAX rendition that was supposed to be for IMAX cinemas in that film, right? And it's not on the steelbooks.
No.
So you actually get to see something that you would have only seen at the IMAX cinema or on Disney Plus as an exclusive. And the resolution is really actually quite good. It's even though it's compressed, you actually do see a quality difference, and that's worth doing if you want. Look for if you're looking for a film, just look for a one, and then it will say this has got an IMAX presentation, and you choose that one.
Yeah, that's worth doing, definitely.
I'm gonna come back then, guys. I won't be long. All right.
Okay. I'll carry on then. So the next film I watched is one I mentioned last week, but I got it on Blu-ray, which is Cold Mountain. It's such a brilliant film, and of course, being me, I got the soundtrack. Soundtrack is absolutely brilliant. I could just sit and listen to this, and it matches perfectly with the film. Still, watching it again, it just made me realize what a great film this is. And you can see why Renée Zellweger got the Oscar winner for this as Best Supporting Actress. But it's not just that, it's just the epic quality of this film. I could just sit and watch these films. Doesn't matter how long they are. I just get so absorbed in them, and it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful piece of filmmaking, and the story, and it's just brilliant. And then they complement it with the soundtrack. And I don't normally go on about the soundtracks because he does, but that is such a good soundtrack, fantastic. Then I picked this up as a bargain. I got this on World of Books, £3. Absolutely brilliant, open all hours. And the condition, look at the condition. It looks new, to be honest. Nobody's played it. I don't know. The discs inside were fantastic. I mean, it just looks so good. And it's such a lovely series, this. I think people, if you think of Ronnie Barker, you think of Porridge, but you think of, I think, this as well, this one. And of course, we got the spin-off series, didn't we? Which they did years later with David Jason, who of course is in here. That was a great thing. But this is so good. What a genius he was as a comedy actor, and absolutely superb. And I mean, that is a bargain. It really is. I was so pleased. This is what I get from Jim Jam, I think, to some extent, where he's always mentioning about how he looks through every day for bargains. And I just happened to be looking through, and I saw this, and I thought, quick, get it at that price. And I did. So I was really pleased to get that. Then this is my Tony York section, as Delboy would say. This is something that he sent me quite a while ago, and I've just finally got around to watching it. and it's right up my street. It's two British movies. It's Sapphire and Flame in the Streets. Now, Sapphire is a British film from 1959, and Flame in the Streets is from 1961. Now, both these films have something in common. That's why they've been put together. They're all films that are progressive for the time, that they're looking at racism and bigotry in this period. And they're just wonderful to watch. And you see the attitudes and that. Sapphire, which is, say, the first one, 1959. It's got a great cast in it. It's got Nigel Patrick, who's absolutely, as always, is fantastic. It's got Michael Craig, and it's got Earl Cameron and Harry Bed. They're the black actors in this. And Harry Bed apparently was in the Italian Job as well, the 1969 version of Italian Job. But Sapphire is great. It's a detective story. This girl that they find, at first it's reported that she's a white girl, but she isn't. It's discovered she's obviously probably mixed race, and it all starts to come out. And you see the prejudice straight away. There's two detectives, and one of them is very much going on, about it, the race. They use quite provocative words, which I probably better not say on here because we could get something. But it was the language they used at the time, and it's quite, I think, really a good British film of that period. And then I think the Flame in the Streets, which is even better in my mind, because it's got John Mills in it. And I'll tell you something, when we're talking of great British actors, I often think of, in my opinion, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. But I think I should include John Mills. I mean, the variety of roles that John Mills as an actor did are absolutely amazing. He was, sadly, I should say, who carried on working for a long time. Well, really quite old, I think, when he's doing films. He just epitomizes something good about British actors, that the roles, the varied roles. And Flame in the Streets is so good because he's this union man who believes in equality. He's talking about making black people have an equal voice in the trade unions, because trade unions, don't forget, were often as racist. They didn't want black people in. But he's going on about it. But then the great brilliance of this film is that his daughter, who he absolutely adores, his daughter loves her and protects her, is going out with a black man. And this really is, it really opens up a lot of things in this film. And Sylvia Sims, she plays the daughter. She's excellent in it, really good. And I think this film is, it's of its period, but it just again shows. I'm always going on the British film industry and the British films that are being produced, and this is one of those films. It's probably a film that I doubt is hardly shown on anywhere anymore. It's probably got a Blu-ray release, I would imagine. Tony would probably know. He's probably got Blu-rays on this. It could even have BFI releases. I don't know, because they're gems of British cinema that need to be sort of looked at, and hopefully people can see how much that period in time was, how it was, because this is after the war, and the amount of prejudice was very strong. I mean, I, on my personal life, didn't face this hardly ever. Occasionally I had it because I was in a mixed relationship with my wife, and we didn't experience it a great deal, not much, but even then it's still sometimes there's undercurrents. But this film is so radical for its time. I just think it's great. It's really good to see British film industry. And also, yeah, there's an actor I must mention, because he pops up in a lot of these 60s films, is Wilfred Bramble. Yeah, and he's good. He's actually really good because he's the granddad. Of course, we're playing a granddad again, always playing characters older than himself. But he's really good. It's Sylvia Sims he's the granddad, and say John Mills is his son. And I just think it's great. I'm really impressed with this film, and I like these kind of films. Just that period, and even when you see, and of course me with music, you get you always just in this period of time you get the jazz scores as well. And if they go into a club, they're sort of these clubs they go into, they're sort of jazz, and there is a sort of one in this where they go into a black club where they're playing all this wonderful music as well. Absolutely fantastic. I'm really impressed with it, and it was a great watch. Now I have watched more, but I can't go into too much detail on them because on Sunday I'm doing a live with Jamie Mukman Movies, who's in at the moment, and we're discussing horror films, and I've been watching all these horror films as well. 10 I had to pick, and well, not all, most of them are horror films. I think mine are mostly, but it's not just horror films, but it's sort of a theme films that scared us or what have you. So I've been watching them, but of course, knowing me, I end up watching, if it's in a trilogy, I can't just watch it helps to watch all the films, and then you get a better assessment. So it's no, I just mentioned it, like Hostel. I watched Hostel, and then I thought, well, I've got to watch the other two to put it in context. And same with the X trilogy as well. So but I'm going to discuss that as I say, that's on Sunday. I'm doing that. So hopefully, well, I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to it. It's doing something different as well, with horror as well. So for me, it's nice. I love horror, and it's good to be able to just talk about that. So anyhow, I think that's it. Anyhow, thank you, Jamie, as well, for inviting me on his live stream. Right, let's go through some comments. Just try to get this up. This, yeah, right. Okay, let's go right to the beginning. We've got we've got quite a few here. We have got first one up is Jim Jam Moves on TV. Good evening, Jim Jam. Yeah, I mentioned you, didn't I? Yeah. And he says, "Oh golly, am I the first here?" You are. You obviously were. Yeah. And he goes, "Hello, hello, 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 hello." It depends how you say it. Is that a policeman or is that the hello, hello? And then we've got Sai saying, "Hi, guys." And then we've got Sai saying, this is from Delboy. Tom Cruise didn't win an Oscar for Born on the 4th of July. Daniel Day-Lewis won it that year for My Left Foot. Sorry for being pedantic. No, I'm glad you've informed us on that one. I didn't know. To be honest, I didn't know Tom Cruise was up for Oscars, but I don't know. To be honest, I'm not somebody who knows Oscars that well. Anyhow, but Daniel Day-Lewis is. I always remember My Left Foot because it was the first film that was shown on Channel 4. I remember that bit when on that evening when Channel 4 started. My Left Foot was shown, and what can you say about Daniel Day-Lewis's performance and what he went on to do from this as well? Just an amazing performance. Then let's see, I've got here. I'll just read one out. I'll take Nasser. Hello, my dear great friend Ian Hill. I owe you a great, wonderful day, blessed with the customers' achievements, love, joy, happiness, health, success, peace, and prosperity. Thank you so much. And then we have got Muckman Movies saying, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jamie. Yeah, I did publicise your live stream. We're really looking forward to it on Sunday at 7 o'clock. Brilliant. Yes. And then we've got Sai saying, evening, Muckman. And then we've got Rocket Bunny 71. Good evening, guys. Evening chat. The talk of food just got back home. You're going to be my dinner viewing this evening. Oh, well, thank you. So the entertainment better be top notch. Yes, but that's quite something. I don't know whether we try as best. We do try as best. I'm sure it hopefully we'll do the best we can. And then we've got Jamie saying hi, Cy and Bunny, and then Cy Robson saying hi, Rocket Bunny, and then Tony. Hello, Tony. Good evening, Ian and Dale and chat. Welcome, Tony. And then Stephen Taylor. Evening, Tony. The new Duke of York. Oh, yes. What can you say? That's a good. But here we go. Poor old Andy, Tony says. Old Randy, Handy, Mandy, Candy. There he is. A man. I should have called him a prince, but I think the way he's going, he's not going to be a prince. He'll end up losing that title. The way it's going, he's losing more titles than. Oh dear! I better not make any football jokes there. Yes, I could say something there, but I won't. And then, yeah, well, he knows how to put his foot in it. Or causing a sweat and all that jokes, I could say. And yeah, right. And then we've got Rocket Bunny saying, "Hey, Tony," and then Muckman Movies, evening, Tony. Hi, Rocket and Jamie. Tony says, and then Tony says, if you enjoyed Nigel Patrick in Saturday Inn, I can recommend The Informers, 1963. Where he plays another police inspector. Excellent. Yeah. Sadly, no Blu-ray releases as far as I know. I got an official release of those two, and it's continuing. As I think the one you have is a bootleg, but decent quality. Yeah, it seems pretty good. The quality. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, well, if it's a bootleg, it's pretty good. Look, that's the disc. I suppose you can tell, can't you, on the other side of this? I don't know. Is that a bootleg? I don't know. Sometimes people look at the disc and say, "Oh yeah, it is," because it's been burnt on. But I thought the quality was pretty good, actually. Yeah, maybe of course with two films on one disc, the quality wouldn't be as good, but to be honest, I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it, yeah. But no Blu-ray releases. That surprises me. Something like the BFI ought to get hold of them. They ought to do. More boutique labels should do a lot of these British films. Yeah, I'd love to see that. I really would. That would be great. Right. And then Stephen Taylor says, I was wondering, will you normally buy films new, or are you happy to buy second hand and save yourself a few quid? I think for me it's quite easy because there are certain films I pick out that I might just have to have. But generally, I do wait. I also wait for offers. You know, like HMV have sales and where they do offers. And Zavi, in fact, Zavi are maybe better than HMV for their offers. You get these offers, and then I will buy them. So very few films I will get brand new. There might be the odd one I get. It's like Weapons is coming out in December, and I might go for that. I might go for Blu-ray on that, or even 4K. I'm still 4K. I don't know. Sometimes I fancy getting the 4K, and sometimes I think, well, am I spending too much money for something? You know, that is there a great deal of difference? I know Delboy might disagree with me, but sometimes you watch a Blu-ray. I think we've had this discussion other weeks, and to be honest, I'm quite happy with Blu-ray. And plus, you save yourself a few quid on the Blu-rays. But you know, if you're prepared to wait, you can get a lot of cheaper ones. And of course, you know, if I go on like Music Magpie, I'm always doing searches on these sites. Then you do come up with bargains, and some are releases that are not that old. Some are obviously, but that doesn't matter to me. It's all about the films, and if I can get some good film pickups, I'm really happy. And I do that because at the moment, that's how it is in life. You have to pick and choose. You know, it's like there's certain sets. I got that Doctor Who set that was expensive, and there's the Blake 7 coming out, and I'll probably get that. But it's difficult because I have to start juggling around. But you know, next year, you know, hopefully things. Well, they will be better next year for me. Say after August, I'm looking forward to when I can buy things freer. But at the moment, I'm on a budget, so that's all I do. And there's no wrong with that because, you know, if you pick up bargains, it's wonderful. I just love picking up bargains. And I say that one today. I mean, that box set, you know, £3. You can't go wrong with that, can you? Really? And then Tony says, I usually go for the cheapest, Stephen. Yeah, good on you, Tony. Yorkshireman as well. We are known for trying to save the odd penny or two. Why? And why not? Indeed, you know, if you can get something cheaper, get it. And that's what I say. I mean, why pay a lot of money? I know my folly, as I say, is that Doctor Who set, definitely. But I've had all the others, and I thought, well, I can't really miss out not having that. So I've got to have it. As for the disc situation, some of it, I look as if there's any official stuff on that. I don't trust everybody nowadays. I really don't. Yeah. What can I say? Actually, I'll let you into a secret. But well, as you know, when I'm doing my Doctor Who reviews, I always go for the DVDs. I do. I think the DVDs look really good, upscaled. And so, though I've got these box sets, I still tend to go for playing the DVD. It just seems more convenient and quicker than fiddling about. That sounds terrible. But that's how I am, I think. I prefer that. That's why I'm, as well as not having all the money, I don't get all these expensive box sets. I mean, that Hammer one looked fantastic. Curse of Frankenstein, £60 though. I can't afford that. It's a lot of money. It may have looked absolutely fantastic. It may be worth it, but I can't afford that. It's as simple as that. You know, it's a lot of money, £60 for a box set, even if it is the Curse of Frankenstein. I am happy with what I've got. I've got the say Studio Canal releases of all those great Hammer films. I've got most. well, I've got all of them, maybe apart from just a couple that they didn't release. Though the network, as I say, I think I've mentioned this before. You've probably had me wittering on. Anyhow, so we've got Yes, Me Too. Tony Stevens says, yeah, quite right. Muckman, depends. If it's a limited run like the Radiance releases, I'll buy new. Yeah, I can understand that. Radiance, I think Radiance are. I've only probably got one or maybe two in my collection. They look like they did some great releases, really do, but I just can't afford to go into them. And yet they're one of the perhaps better, more budget style ones as well. But some of the films absolutely look really good. Let's see. And then Ian, yes, I mentioned it, I think last week. I hope I did. Yeah, I watched Master and Commander. Yeah, I loved it. Brilliant set in Napoleonic War. Great performances. I loved how we saw all the sort of life of the crew, the conditions. You felt very much you were really involved in it. Russell Crowe was absolutely fantastic in it. I just thought it was a really good film, but it showed the divisions, the class divisions as well, which were quite interesting. I said life aboard those ships, really good. You wonder how they survived, some of those sailors, and of course the brutality of warfare. Getting cannonballs smashed into the ships were quite. Well, they were quite devastating, weren't they? I mean, not only, and the doctor, yeah, that was another bit. The scenes where you see the doctor, how is he going to do this kind of emergency surgery where basically he's having to saw off limbs and all that sort of stuff? Oh, it's so gritty, and I thought that was great. I loved seeing all that side of it. It didn't pretend. Like you watch some of these films on board galleons in the past, which I do love, all those kind of ones. But it was good to see something which was more dirtier, which was more reality based of what it would have been like. And I thought they did it so well. I think in that film, it is highly recommended. Master and Commander, definitely. I absolutely loved it. And then Rocket Bunny says, have you been tempted by the new 4K print of Master and Command? I must admit, let's see. Oh no, sorry. I've jumped ahead. I'll tell that. This one, yeah. So he's been, from what I've seen, people are really happy with it. I think if it's a real favourite of your film and you've got the money to buy it, well, get it. If it's what you really want, then get it. If you've got the money, finance, just do it. Yeah. I think you. It's a cliche, isn't it? But if you want something, enjoy your life as best you can. If you can't get it, then obviously you can't get it, but you have to accept those things. But if you can, well, my advice is always get something, because you might regret it. These new releases, they sell out, and then you can't get them. Or you do and hope, going to the second-hand market. There's nothing wrong with that as well. So you have a look at them. But of course, the only problem is then you get people trying to exploit the situation and make a lot of money out of it. I mean, there's some prices that are just silly, and who would pay these inflated prices? And that's when DVD is good, because you realize that the DVD version, sometimes, if there is a release, you might as well get the DVD, because most of them, say modern players now, will do a really good job on a DVD. So that's my advice. If you love the film, I always say it is about the film. If you've got passion for films, yeah, there's a difference, as we've talked about, with collectors in other weeks. Collectors, I think, see things a bit differently. Me, and I just like the films. These collections are nice, but I mean, let's face it, sometimes you get a film and then you get stuff with it which, you know, you think, really, you know, a few stickers and bits, pieces, and they're not even proper lobby cards, you know, the postcards, not the lobby card that you get. I know I've gone on about it before. Don't worry, I've not gone into one of my rant videos. No. Yes. And then a prince among thieves. Right. Okay, Tony. Tony, if you're free to do, you fancy being the moderator on my Sunday live stream? Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm sure Tony will be good on that. Stephen Taylor, how is your son now? And I hope he's 100% better now. Yeah, Stephen, thank you for asking. He is. He's back at work. He's a lot better. Well, yeah, I'd say he's 100% better. It's great news. Yeah, it's great to see. I'm really pleased for him. Yeah, it's great. You know, all that worry that we had. Now it's all gone, and life goes on, fortunately. Yeah, so I'm pleased about that. Yeah. And then Tony says, I am expecting door crashes, Jamie. I was hoping to catch the stream, Jamie. So, yes, I'm okay with that. Well, thank you, Tony. Brilliant, Tony. Yeah, we're very happy with that. No idea, but you never know when a troll will really. It's so grand. It's true. You never know. They are around, and I'm sure Tony knows how to see them off. He does. Yeah. Yes, they tend to prowl around. Yeah. And then it says, not sure I make you a moderator, but I'm sure Ian can help. Yeah. So, yeah, I think there is a way around it. Yes. I think I need to use YouTube. I think you need to use YouTube Studio, I'm sure. I'm sure you can do it, Muckman. What? Yeah. Anyway, we could have a word. I could always. I'll tell you something. There's bound to be a YouTube video on how to make somebody a moderator. If I've forgotten, that's what I'd be doing. I would just put on a live. How do you make somebody a moderator? And it will go through that. There's always one, but if there ain't, we can work something out. But that's what I do anyhow. Because I'm pretty hopeless. My memory is not so good. Yeah, I think I actually got Delboy to help me out to make Tony a moderator. But I think you do it through YouTube Studio. Yeah, we'll have a look anyhow. Don't worry. And then he's laughing at. And then Stephen says, "What's the stream going to be about on Sunday?" Well, it's horror. That's what Jamie has chosen. He wants to talk about films that made us scared, and you know, scary films. Yeah. And then I say, I'm guessing I'll need to be in the chat for you to do it, Jamie. And then James says, Stephen, we're going to talk about horror films that scared us, past and present. Yeah. And then Tony puts his thumbs up. Yeah. Rocket Bunny, I tend to watch the Blu-rays for for what? For, do you know something? When available, the picture quality is usually improved, and when there's a 5-1 soundtrack, they sound amazing. Yeah, I'm sure that. Sorry about me. I'm thick as. That's why I have him. Delboy on. I don't know what DR stands for, but I'm sure it's something that's really obvious. But yeah, the soundtrack, definitely. You can make adjustments, of course, as well. That's important. Sound is important. And then let's have a look here. Stephen says, sounds like fun or maybe scary. Laugh out loud. Yes. And then Tony says, I was looking at a series of 13 Blu-rays of Doctor Who, as I enjoy most of the stories, but have them on DVD. May get the cheaper set, which they usually release a while after. Yeah, that's what the people do, actually. It is worth getting. But I think it is perhaps one of Tom Baker's finest seasons or series, whatever you want to call it, series. Those episodes in that one are just amazing. All sort of horror kind of releases as well. And The Brain of Morbius, that is such a great episode. And Tom Baker is at his height, really. He really is. He's just knocking it out of the park. He's just brilliant. And then Rocky Bunny said, "Oh, I just watched Terror of the Zygons with its 5.1 surround. Really adds a lot to the atmosphere. Highly recommended." Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet. I must check that out. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be well worth watching. Especially if you have a big screen. Yeah, exactly. I've only got the big TV, but my big TV's all right, you know. And then great. We got a Master and Commander. Yeah, glad you enjoyed it. I missed you talking about it last week. Yeah, you must have done. But yeah, thank you. Anyhow, it's one that you sent me, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you. And then Tony says 43-inch. Don't know if that counts as big. It's okay. No, 43-inch is all right. It's fine. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about TVs, in the 60s. I think it was when I was watching one of these films, and you see the size of the screen. You see this big sort of surround bit, and in the middle there's this little screen. They're almost like cabinet kind of things. And I remember us having one of those as well, the black and white ones. You imagine watching one of those. It was really quite small now. It was probably smaller than a portable TV that you got, that people, I remember when we were getting portable TVs. Yeah, but how technology changed a lot. Yeah. And then, how does one answer a question like that? And Tom says, yes, the Blu-ray of Doctor Who's a good rocket. I have the John Pertwee releases. My favorite Doctor. Yes, he's great. He is great. I love him as well. I love all the classic ones. I guess the answer is pass. All right. And then laughing. And then Rock Bunny says, well, I upgraded my TV recently, but I live alone without a wife, so size is not an issue. Yeah. I know what it is. When you got a wife, you can do like my TV is there in front of me, and I can watch it when I want and watch what I want. There is actually a freedom in being on your own as well, in that you don't have to, you're the only person that you're pleasing is yourself and what you watch. You don't have to make any excuses at all. You can watch it. You want to watch this, watch it. Fantastic. And then we have got Jamie Muckman Movies saying, very sad, Samantha Eggers passed away last week. She was fantastic in The Collector and The Brood. Oh, I think The Brood is one of my favorites. I know The Collector, I've got that, is quite well thought of as well. But The Brood, what a film. Great horror. Absolutely. A wonderful film. What can I say about that? But yeah, that is sad. Samantha Eggers, yeah. and then he's put Edgar, and then Tony York says, talking of DV being good quality, Ian, just watching a very cheap double DV set of 2 Sophia Loren's films, and the quality is almost Blu-ray in my opinion. Great films too. White Sister, 1972, a comedy where she plays a nun. You know, I don't know whether I might have seen that one a long time ago, really a long time ago. It does ring a bell. And The Key, 1958, a World War II drama with William Alden and Trevor Howard. I think I've come across that one as well. William Alden and Trevor Howard. Wow. Fantastic actors. There's quality actors from the past. Not all of them had massive roles, but some of them do. William Alden, pretty good roles in his career, right through, I think. I was thinking to the second Omen film. And Trevor Howard. I mean, Trevor Howard, what an actor. What an actor, covering such a long period of films that he did. So reliable as an actor. Absolutely brilliant, Trevor Howard. Really have a lot of admiration for him, what he did. So good in the roles. Yeah. And Rocket Bunny, I'm a bit behind with YouTube comments, Ian, but we'll catch up over the next few days. Enjoyed your Who reviews as always, but I really enjoyed your rant about the party series of great films. I know I just did it. I suppose, if I'm honest, I did it and thought, well, that's how I feel at the time. And then afterwards, I thought, well, actually, there are exceptions to what I said. I did think of some exceptions. And I thought, well, yeah, I just got it off my chest. And it was it wasn't clickbait, but some of it was maybe just sort of, I knew I'd get a reaction from it, so that's why I put it up. And it was good because it turned out to be one of my most watched videos that I've ever done. Normally my videos don't do that well. It's my shorts that I get the best views on my shorts, but that one has got over 1,000 views. Well, 1,000 for me is, I know for these big channels, 1,000 is, it's only 1,000. But for me, to get over 1,000 views on a normal rant video is absolutely fantastic. I couldn't believe it. But it did raise, these discussions, and I hope that's why it did, because there are exceptions where I think definitely the film has been poor and the TV series has been better. And the example pointed out to me was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is not considered a great film, but TV series is so good. So there are a lot more films that people mention, and I think that's good. In fact, I'm very happy with that. I'm not one of these dogmatic people saying, "Oh no." I think that's good, because at least if it sort of gets people thinking in a discussion, and not to get too hyped up about it, then that's great. So it was a bit of tongue in cheek as well, but with the heart behind it, I hope, because I think I just did it kind of on the moment, really. I was so fed up with that Aliens series, Earth. It just, okay, it did start off reasonably well, but it just soon got poor, and it just annoyed me at the time, because the Aliens is a great set of films, and that to me didn't add anything. So that was the idea. But as everybody pointed out, there are other films where it works the other way around. But it wasn't meant to be clickbait, but it did get me the views. It did get me some views, which for my channel, it's incredible, because being such a small channel and compared with all these other ones. So I was happy with that. I looked, and it had been pushed a bit. I think there's a lesson in that sometimes the title that you put on as well as they always say, the thumbnail determines if YouTube will push it. And that's what I'm always trying to do. It's difficult with YouTube because you don't know how they will react. But if you put a provocative title or a title, you have got a better chance of them picking up on that title. And so it is worth doing. I know you can call it clickbait, but it isn't. If it gets your video out, you can just use it in that way. It doesn't always work. If you put a title down that people will react to, it can be an extreme title in a way, then that's all right. I've no problem with that, and it's not to get all hot and bothered and to take it too seriously, but it did well, so I was quite pleased with it. And it makes you always think about what you, as a YouTube channel, what to put up, and how to put it up. I'm no good with thumbnails that much. My thumbnails, I think, probably look pretty boring, but I don't know how to do any really good ones. I'm sure people spend hours and hours, and I always feel I haven't got the time to spending hours and hours doing thumbnails. So I tend to be a bit lazy. I've got certain setups. I've got some all partly done, and I just bung them on and do it like that. But maybe if I did more on thumbnails, I might get better views. It's hard to say. But a title, certainly, if you are doing videos, it does catch people. And that's a way of doing it. I always say, and I always say with Delboy's channel, it's such a shame that his blog doesn't do that well, and it should do. It should do really well. I mean, it does well for him channel, but I always think he should be even getting more than that, because it's such a heartfelt a look at somebody, and that is, it's so human, it's so good. And incidentally, while I'm here, if anybody hasn't subscribed to it,
no, don't do it.
Subscribe to his channel. I put the link in below, so please go and subscribe. It's a real good thing. But I say that is a strength. I always say it, of his channel. And I wish YouTube would push it. But that's the thumbnails. You see, the idea is people are flicking through, and if someone jumps out on a thumbnail, they might be more inclined to do it. I don't know whether I've got that capability of doing it. So the only other way is sometimes is just use a provocative title, but that's only for just that odd video. How can I make my Doctor Who reviews better? I don't know whether I want to. I don't want to put, I don't know. Is Colin Baker stories really a pile of poo? Are they all? I could put that up and probably get quite a few Doctor Who fans debating over that, defending one way or the other. You can be provocative, but I don't know. It's good to occasionally do a rant, but and I know it perhaps would help my channel or more. But I've got to feel I've got to be in it, to do it. But YouTube is like that. To get anywhere on YouTube, you need to get into their recommendations. If they don't recommend you, then you can do the most brilliant videos, and you put a lot of heart in, which a lot of people do, put a lot into them, and then you don't get much reward back. It's just one of the sad things about YouTube. But if you accept it, then that's all right. If you enjoy, I always say, and I think Delboy agrees a lot with me, that if you enjoy doing something, and that's the reward for you, and if just a few people are saying, "Oh, I really like what you've done," then that's enough. That is, to me, a big reward, in itself. And obviously, I think Delboy even mentioned it himself. As you continue making these videos, you get more confident, you learn little bits and pieces about doing things, how to do them. So that developed as well, because I could look at my early videos, I think you said it as well, and you think, oh my God, what a crap video that is. But I put that out at the beginning, think, oh wow, what was I doing? But that's how it is, YouTube. You develop, and it's a good learning experience. But as I say, when you're at our level, you have to just do it for your own enjoyment, and what other people get out of it is really pleasing. It's like his blog. He should never stray away from the principles behind that blog, and that's what he doesn't. We get a glimpse of him as a person, as well as what's been going on in his life, and then we get from that his interests, and he brings them in. It's a human one. It's like Mr. Spock telling us all to be human and enjoying that quality, and that's what Delboy does. So your ear and your ears now are probably red with me talking about you, but I just say, I genuinely say, and
I've been here 9 minutes.
Yeah, I know you have. Well, there you are. So let's get on to the next one.
No, hang on a minute. All right, yeah. I just got to say, I've never heard such a load of bollocks in my life. Right?
Yeah, that's the one that you like, the bollocks.
Right. I've never heard such a load of bollocks. Like, you're all a bunch of load of like idiots, right? Go. Not watching my channel and all that sort of shit. You're all ungrateful load of idiots, right? The other thing is I'll tell you about clickbait, right? I watched this Santa Claus wannabe, right, do this clickbait video this week, right? Honestly, he was talking about movies that turn into TV stuff, right? I'll tell you what, nobody looked more like Captain Birdseye than this guy, right? And he was just turning around and he was saying this, that, and the other. I don't like Alien. I don't like this. I don't like this. And writers don't do this. What a load of bollocks, right? I haven't heard so much moaning and whinging and whining in my life, right? Yeah. I watched it to the end and I went, shit.
Bollocks.
What the hell have I watched that for bloody 25 minutes for? Jesus Christ. Then when I looked, it had 1,000 views. Oh, bloody hell. I thought, I'll tell you what, I know what I'm going to do next week. I'm going to do a video, right? And it's going to say, I'm reviewing the lost episodes of Doctor Who, right? Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to review the Web of Fear. I wouldn't be lying.
Yeah.
They were the lost episodes 13 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm reviewing the lost episodes now found in a Doctor Who episode, in a Doctor Who story, right? And it's Web of Fear. There you are. I'll do the Enemy of the World. There you are. Wouldn't be wrong. That'd be clickbait, wouldn't it? That is a clickbait video right there. I am reviewing the lost episodes of Doctor Who. Yeah. Right? Of course, everybody will be thinking I've got the hold of the recent ones that nobody knows anything about. But because I put that, everybody will watch it and they'll be looking at something that came out 13 years ago.
Yeah.
There you are. Bollocks. That's clickbait. Pisses me about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
rant. Anyway,
I love do that.
Anyway, I love you all. You know that. I just had to get that out of my system. What
you ought to do a video about going like that. Stuff to you people.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Actually, it is a good subject to rant on, but because everybody's so, I don't know, repeating what we already know. That's the thing. We know it.
No, I think I said what I needed to say in the comment, and that is because I wholeheartedly agreed with pretty much everything that you said, but I think that there is a glimmer. There's a glimmer of stuff out there, and the problem is they shouldn't do film to TV unless they have really gotten hold of something that's going to add something that a film couldn't do. Now, when it comes to that Alien Earth,
Yeah.
I said at the beginning, I liked the first 2 episodes. I thought they were great. It was a great start, right? Now, I asked you the other day, how many episodes did you see? So I didn't get very far in it at all. And the problem is, if you go back, I don't know, 30 odd years ago, like Star Trek The Next Generation, right? And we all thought, well, I watched those first 3 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. What a load of bollocks, right? You wouldn't get to season 3 and see the Borg, right? Or season 2 halfway through and see the Borg. Right?
My argument, though, against that is I think, though the stories are weak, I think people clicked onto the characters pretty quickly. And that was a good testament to casting, and that's why people stuck with it. So that is an important.
This is why I was saying that the writing is poor, right?
Yeah.
The characters, they seem to be 2-dimensional, right? But the characters have got to develop, and unfortunately, they've only been given 8 episodes to do it in. Where's the 26 episodes like Lost, Dad? I mean, do you remember Lost and all those different?
Oh, I love Lost. Yeah.
There was all these different people, and they only were given something like 5 minutes total in the first 3 episodes that lasted an hour each, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I can't even remember who you were. I saw you last week, and I can't remember what you were, but you were sitting over there with some girl, and now you're sitting with this bloke talking about something. I have no idea what the hell's going on. You got to understand that they've now got to speed things up so much that you've got to like the characters pretty much within the first 30 seconds. Otherwise, you've lost the audience.
Yeah.
And the only people that we can blame for that really is not the execs, and it's not the writers or anything like that. It's the it's the MP3 skipping generation that basically can't get that. Watch something for 30 seconds, and if they don't like it in the first 30 seconds, it's off. Right? That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because we used to listen to albums on record and watch them all the way and listen to them all the way through, and now they just skip. If I don't like the first 10-second riff, that's it. I'm off.
Yeah.
I'm off. Ain't gonna bother with that. And that's what's happening with TV. There's so much on the streaming channels that you're just going, if I don't like this in the first episode, then bollocks to it raw. Now, Kevin Costner's been in a couple of westerns that are in episodic format, like Yellowstone or something like that. Denny was reminding me that there was a TV series called The Bear. Haven't got around to watching that. Gary Oldman was in an espionage spy type thing that was on that he said was the best thing since sliced bread.
Wow.
Can't remember the title of it. It came out last year. All of those things were not films to TV, which is why I couldn't say anything. Right? That's why I could only say, there was things like Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad and all of this sort of stuff, right? And when it comes to film, you're quite right. What a load of bollocks, right? Wednesday is about the only thing that I can really sort of seriously think about, right? That is modern and has been turned from a film into a TV thing. Right?
Really well, very well.
Now, there's lots of TV out there, and you have to look around, and it's probably on something that you haven't got, like Apple Plus or something like that. That's the reason why you ain't seen it.
And it doesn't get released on physical media, does it? Apple are notoriously for not releasing anything.
So all I'm saying is I had to turn around and say, do you know what? I agree probably 95% of what you said.
Yeah.
95. I've got to turn around and say, if you're using words like everything or literally or anything like that, I have to turn around and go, well, do you know what?
I am, to be honest, I knew I was being provocative. That's what you do sometimes. Just people talking. It's the only way to get people talking. And I thought your response was very good, what you put down there, because I thought immediately, of course you're right. I mean, look at the Buffy the Vampire Slayer film. I mean, that was not very
But we are talking, you see, even the scary thing about that is it's still 25 years ago. Angel, 25 years ago. X-Files. How far back?
1990s it started.
If you want to start talking modern, then you've got to start talking about things that probably you haven't seen, and so you can't really you can't really talk about it because you haven't seen it. And there's things like I said, there's things called Yellowstone and stuff like that even I haven't got around to seeing. And I'm going, you know what? I've been meaning to see that, and I ain't got around to it yet.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen
that,
Game of Thrones. I've never seen Breaking Bad, which are all get absolutely, people love those series. I think the problem is with Game of Thrones is I could buy it probably, but it just seems a bit daunting having to watch that whole series. There's a lot of episodes, isn't there, of Game of Thrones. I don't know. I don't know whether I just want to do that, but it's my loss, really.
You see,
well, I mean, nowadays, Lost. Nobody's going to really sit down and watch Lost out of like we did,
No. But then again, Lost, and everybody does the same pun. Lost its way.
Yeah.
Too many seasons. Should have had a more quality ending.
Yeah.
And that ending should have come 2 seasons before it actually did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prison Break.
The ending I thought was quite predictable.
Prison Break should have remained.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that one.
Should have been a 1 or 2 season thing max.
Yeah.
Right. In other words, he had this tattoo all over his body that was telling him how he was going to get out of this prison. Right. It was all sounding really interesting and all of that sort of stuff. Once he got out,
he lost.
Why carry it on?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there were other TV series that I saw. There was one called Fast Forward. No, was it called
Flash
Forward or Fast Forward or something? Ended after 1 season.
Forward.
It did not have a proper ending that I remember of it.
It got cancelled, I think.
And to be quite honest, I was watching that week after week, and I was going, this is all right, right? And then nothing ended, right? And it's because it was done by, I think, 20th Century Fox, and they killed everything after about 1 season if it didn't do anything. That was it.
Yeah.
Right. I have to look at these things and go, in some ways, we as a public cause the problem. That's why we've only got 8 episodes now for a season of something.
Yeah.
But the other reason is we got to blame the execs and the studios, because there was a series like that was coming out. It had 22 odd episodes, just like it used to have in the old days, and they cancelled it at the end.
Yeah.
So, and that wasn't by viewing figures. That was 20th Century Fox said, "Nah, too expensive. Bit bored of it now. Turn it off."
Yeah.
That's the exec's fault. So the execs probably started it, and the Millennial Click Nation ended it. That's it. And now we're in this situation where there's so many channels, so many things starting, and nothing ending.
They haven't got the money, have they?
Yeah. And so they look at the film IPs now, and they just turn around and go, right, I'll start putting a well-known thing out there. It's the only thing that we can put our money into that we're assured there's going to be a second season to.
Yeah.
We ain't going to cancel an Alien show, take it like this. And June, it is one of the other anomalies. The TV series of June, I enjoyed, not as much as the 2 films.
Yeah,
but I like the TV series. It was only 6 episodes, if I remember rightly. It didn't last very long, and there is a second season coming out. Fantastic.
So that must have had a success in terms of their ratings.
But remember this: everybody's excited about June at the moment.
Yeah.
So of course, the very name itself means it's going to get something.
Yeah. The thing is, if a streamer buys the rights and invests money into it, they want some return back, don't they? I mean, Amazon Prime want things back. They're not just doing it. They are doing it just to get some content on their stream. That's what they want.
This is the other thing about it is that there's very little advertising revenue on a streaming channel.
Yes, advertising is interesting.
So the only way they get their money is subscribers, and they've screwed the subscribers around so much that they're losing and hemorrhaging subscribers left, right, and center. Somebody said it the other day. You say 6-7 years ago, oh, share your account, give it to people in your own home, all of this sort of stuff. 3 years later, they're taking it away from you. And then they hike up the price and say, "Oh, by the way, if you want the high definition version, it's going to cost you this much. If you want the standard definition one, it'll cost you this much." And you're going, bloody hell.
Yeah.
So you give me something, and then like clickbait, you've turned around and said, "Oh, but we only meant that as an April Fool's joke." So we're actually not doing that anymore.
They forget that people have to choose. I know it's a cliche, but there's the cost of living crisis, and people have to budget, and you can't afford all these channels. That's it. I mean, it's a reality. In fact, I don't know how they survive, because people can't afford to, pay out whatever it is, even if it's, say, it's $7.99 or something like that. Well, that might seem reasonable, but if you start adding all those up together, various ones, it becomes expensive.
Yeah.
Anyhow, right. Let's have a look. This is Jamie Samantha Tony. Sorry, Jamie Samantha Egger is in Light at the Edge of the World in one of those imprint sets you got. Yeah, good adventure film, in my opinion. Unusual settings too. Yeah, I saw those imprint sets that you had, Jamie. Yeah, and Tony did as well. And then he says here, Muckman, yeah, I have a few films she's in that I need to watch. I was aware of that one, but cheers. Yeah. And then he says, I've been buying my tickets for next month's Leeds International Film Festival. Good. Got some exciting films to see. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'm sure you're going to really enjoy that. It's good to see you keeping and watching films, at the cinema. And it's just great to see. It really is that. And then we've got Tony saying, I think our first big screen TV was 22-inch, and we thought it was huge at the time. Yeah, we did. I remember exactly the same. We were going, wow, that's massive, isn't it? Look at that, Because I remember we used to rent. A lot of people rented TVs at the time, and when we first got our rental one, we were going how big it was. And of course, now I'm sure it was probably only about 14 inches, but we were saying how big it was, because that was the big change in TVs, looking at TVs. And now, I say a portable TV were bigger than them, but that's just a big change that's happened. And of course, the TV is now, it's more than you can, if you've got the screen like I do, it's a Wi-Fi thing. So therefore it's used for more than just watching TV. And then Muckman Movies says, Lynn Ramsey's Die My Love, Yorgos Lanthimos's Begonia. Now I've heard about that Begonia mentioned. I saw an advert for it. A Private Life starring Jodie Foster, and If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
That's modern. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You has only just come out, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, so is that Begonia that's been mentioned? I just saw a thing on that one. And probably A Private Life is. I've not heard of Jodie Foster.
I don't know what the question was, so I don't know what.
I think he's on about is the film festival he's going to. He's just.
Oh well, that's why they're all modern films. Then I was going, hang on a minute. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Has just been reviewed by Josh.
Yeah. This is this Leeds film festival that he's got tickets for. Yeah, it Leeds International Film Festival.
Yeah,
so that's good. Supporting that, and then Rocket Bunny 71. I was gutted when my old 25-inch square CRT failed after 20 odd years. I kept it in my bedroom for that authentic classic TV and retro gaming feel. Sometimes consider buying a second-hand one on eBay. Well, why not? If you can get one.
Well, my last CRT TV I left up in Manchester for the people who bought me house.
Can I just ask you, what does CRTV mean?
Cathode ray tube.
Ah, yes, yeah. Right.
But I had one of those Philips 32-inch widescreen TVs that weighed a bloody ton and actually came with its own flipping stand. You know, that it was that
Oh
bloody
yeah,
heavy.
yes, I remember.
And when I sold my house in 2005, I decided that when I sold my house and I moved back home, that the first thing I was going to do was buy myself one of those newfangled plasmas.
Yeah.
So of course I said that for the people that were buying the house, I said there's two things I'm leaving behind for you. One of them is the washer dryer, and the other one's the TV. I'll keep those downstairs for you. You can do with them what you want. And because they were a new family starting out, buying their first house, I thought that would be a nice present for them, that they don't have to worry about a washer dryer and they don't have to worry about a TV. Because I remember moving into that house myself and I had nothing. It took me 3 days for the bed to be delivered. Moving into that house. So, you know. So I thought that'd be nice.
Yeah.
And that was the last cafe ray tube TV I had. It was a 32. It was one of those 32-inch silver Philips widescreen TVs.
Yeah. And do you
Actually,
remember?
It might have been bigger than 32. I think it was the last one they did. I think the last one they did was 36-inch. So it might have been a 36-inch.
Do you remember when you could buy the VHS videos in widescreen? Weren't they great?
Well, that's what I bought it. I bought it purposely for those VHS. Because I told you, I remember they came out from 20th Century Fox at first, and they were Star Wars. Star Wars was one of the first ones. There was one Bond film, that was one of them. Die Hard was one of the early ones.
Yeah.
And they all said, do you remember watching things like this? Well, now you can watch it like this. And it used to go, like this. And you went, oh, wow, I want it.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
And then, and then I went out and bought a telly straight away. I went, right, I'm having a telly now.
Well, when they showed pan and scan and then compared it with the widescreen, you thought, blimey heck, you're losing loads on pan and scan.
Yeah,
I mean, it really was a difference.
It was Mondo Chelovic who basically turned around and said this week about Young Frankenstein. He said the ratio is more like a TV square for the cinema release. If you're watching the widescreen one that's included in the box set, then basically they've zoomed the camera in and you'll be missing the top and the bottom, right? Because that's the only way that it would work. Because they never made a wider version of it. So if you want to make it wide, you'd cut the top and bottom frame off.
Yes.
And he gave an example. He said, here's a picture. Look, it's a picture of them climbing over the mountains, and you can see the castle in the distance, right?
Right.
In the widescreen one, you don't see the castle. You just see them climbing over the rock.
Oh.
And he said only when you're watching the proper 1:6 ratio one do you see the castle, because they cropped it off.
Yeah. Sometimes you wonder. I know collectors do like to have everything possible, but sometimes you just think, well, I want to see the best version possible. And if it is that version, I don't want all the other ones that things are missing off and what have you. You want to watch the best version of the film you can. But that's where I suppose the money has to go in these collector's editions. That's why I sometimes too much.
Well, that's why I like that Hammer box set, because it gives you the original 1:6 version and it gives you the widescreen one in case you want to watch that one, right?
Yeah.
And then of course there's all the extras and there's everything else. But what I'm trying to say is you've got the choice.
Yes.
If Frankenstein is your thing, then basically it's worth 60 quid. If Frankenstein is not your thing, it's not worth 60 quid. It's pretty easy. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
That's why I'm never going to turn around and say to people, "You're a bloody idiot buying that."
Oh no! I would never say that.
What I'm trying to say is, I was just going to say, I'm not going to say to somebody, £199 for the Nightmare on Elm Street steelbook that's coming out on Monday. You must be mental, right?
I'd never say that.
I cancelled my own,
Yeah.
but that's because I rationalised it and said, do you know what? I could buy the standard edition of that, and I'd be all right, right?
Yeah.
I don't. Although steel books are my thing, 199 quid.
Yeah.
It's a bit rich.
Yeah.
Bit rich for my blood, that. But for somebody who's a huge fan of it,
yeah, exactly.
That's a drop in the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah. And I still say
saving all year for it, probably. You know what I mean? It's like,
if people have got the money and want to spend that, then that's fine. I've got absolutely no problem. Nobody should really. It's your money. You spend it on you want. If you want to pay 199 quid for something, then fine.
I'm sure there's people out. I'm sure there's people out there that went. You spent 55 quid on the Doctor Who season 13 box set. You bloody idiot! 55 quid.
Sure there is. But then I would say, well, it's classic Doctor Who. It's not this rubbish that we have nowadays. I would never even dream of buying any of that new rubbish.
I just turn around and say each to their own.
Yeah,
I'm sure I could look. I could look at your collection, and I could probably look at your record collection and go, "You bought the bloody Birdie song, did you? You bloody idiot! What the hell you got that for? What do you mean you bought Renee and Renata Save Your Love? Jesus Christ, man! What the hell are you on?
Digging about?
Whatever, each to their own.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I've nothing wrong with people if they want to have Shooty Gatwa in their collection, but not in my collection. But if you want it, you perfectly have it. You get enjoyment from it. But I know
I would not put it past you. I would not put it past you that your 5 years time, Doctor Who's back. It's never done better than it ever was. You started going, right, I'm going to start buying the collection again. You look at your collection, oh, cool, I ain't got those 2 seasons. You pass by a Kex and you find it for 50 pence in a steelbook format, right? No. I'm pretty sure you're going to go,
well, you might as well have it. I know what you're saying. Yeah,
I might buy that, right?
Yeah,
you just never say never.
Yeah. I suppose you're right. If it's there for next to no, then yeah.
I've actually chosen, believe it or not, for Halloween, I've actually chosen to watch The Twilight Zone, the movie, for some reason.
Oh, well, why not?
I was looking down my list and I was going, do you know what? I ain't seen Twilight Zone, the movie, for a long time. I tell you what, Jerry Goldsmith did the score to Twilight Zone, the movie.
No,
it's Halloween. It really fits in. I think I'll have that.
Fine.
What are you laughing at? What? No, hang on a minute. What are you laughing at?
Well, a certain mention of a film composer,
did I mention him? Oh, I'm ever so sorry.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's a real tragedy. Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah. Someone on YouTube put the 10 scariest Twilight Zone episodes up, and I tell you what, they were right. There is some real scary, weird shit in Twilight Zone, and I tell you what, you could watch those and have those as actually things to watch in between a movie in your 31 days of Halloween, and you wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think Twilight Zone is more sci-fi, but it's not. It's horror. There's horror in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I always say this, and this is why I never understand it, but sci-fi and horror together, what a combination.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite combinations. You've got to have both sometimes, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see. Tony says people seem to enjoy seeing rants. They do. People love a good rant. Yeah. Rocket Bunny, well, thoroughly deserve 1,000 views on your channel. It was a very entertaining, very relevant for your YouTube algorithm. Well done, mate. Yeah, that's why I'm pleased that it did that, but I knew it might do well if YouTube just took the title. That's what you have to do. It's the title is so important, what you put down. And then it was a good rant, to be fair. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Rocket Bunny, you could tell you were genuinely passionate and genuine, which counts a lot in a good video, in my view. Yeah, you've got to be. You've got to be.
All I got to say about that is you can fool so many people. That's what I've got to say about that.
Yeah.
He fooled you all. Genuine. The only thing genuine is that beard on the bottom of his bloody chin. That's the only thing genuine on that bloke there. I see it on that sofa. I can tell you now.
Jen said, Ian, you ought to change your channel to Ian Hilda Rants. You'll get more views. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah.
Hang on a minute. I rant all the time. It doesn't get me any bloody extra.
Yeah, but you have to change Delboy. If you said, I don't know, ranting old Delboy, it might get people more interested. Why don't you all bastards? Something like that. Oh, what? Yeah, that's what you all bastards. But YouTube might not like that. I don't know.
No, I was thinking about calling my channel YouTube Bollocks, but I thought I might get.
You are. I think they have got a sense of humour. I don't think. Rocky was a hammock. I can almost put a comment to say, change his channel to Ian Hilda Rantings. Yes, yeah. And then Tony, the rantings, easy to change from ramblings. Yeah. Anyway, I need to cram a horror film in. Here we are for the 31 days of horror marathon I'm doing. Catch you all in half an hour. Well, no, you might be back now. I don't know.
No, it says in an hour and a half. That's it.
When did he do that? 9:10.
Right. Yeah. So about half an hour ago.
Yeah. Right. And then he says snap. Tony says. And then they're all these various things there, laughing and emojis and things. I don't know. We may be gone, Jamie. Oh, well, we probably are gone already. Yeah. I'll go subscribe to Dell's channel now. No, wait, damn. That unsubbed me. Oh.
Yeah, if you hit the subscribe button when you're subscribed, you unsubscribe yourself, yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got here Josh, sorry. Josh through the lens. Sup boys. How are you doing? We're doing Reek Grandland. Yeah, we're all right.
I couldn't keep up with him last week. He brought out something like 5 videos. I went, you bastard. When you used to do 1 or 2, it was all right. Now you're bringing out bloody 1 a day again. It's sort of it's almost getting to the point that you're imitating Ian Hill, the bleeding ramblings. He's bringing out 2 bloody videos a day. Like, how the bloody hell am I supposed to get on with do anything? Bastards, the lot of you.
And then Tony says, Ian had a Dell rant and I haven't. Ian's had a Dell rant and I haven't. Oh yeah. Have you done your Tony?
I've missed Tony York video corner, ain't I? So I don't know what the hell's going on, do I? I had to go and look after my mum, you know.
But normally you even have one all the time about him. Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen him say any. I haven't seen anything that I'm supposed to rant at yet. He said he said about 2 things.
You saved Tony from it then.
Oh, as soon as he says something that I can rant at, I'll do it.
This is an interesting observation here. Dell, I've just thought of the solution for you to crack 1,000 subs. Captain Birdseye Beard. Muckman has one. Ian has one.
I was going to turn around and say, because I saw the comment and I thought to myself, you see, what a lot of people don't know is I can't grow a beard because I'm actually 17 years old. I haven't learned to shave yet, right? So unfortunately, I can't grow a beard like Dr. Snuggles here, right? I can't, you know. So I've got to wait until I'm like the old man of the South here, look, right? So you know, so when I'm about 74, I'll try. I mean, it'll take till I'm 74 to grow one like that.
Oh dear. Oh yeah, and of course this is important. And a really good Yorkshire accent. El City. Yeah, I'm afraid.
Oh, Civvy. Is that how you say it? Is that how you spell it? Civvy. Is that how you spell it? Is that how you spell it?
You can spell it possibly like that.
I thought it was Civvy or something like that.
Al City, lad. No, you don't say that sounds posher. Al City. It's Al City. That's it, lad. And then he says, Rocket Bunny, aye, Tony, aye. Yeah, you're going to have aye.
No, sounds like northern bollocks to me. That's all.
He says a Ponce Southerner. I like it.
I'm an adopted northerner.
Yeah, adopted. Yes. And then we've got Jim Jam Movies and TV saying, great people in tonight. Well, thank you, Jim Jam.
Yeah, it was till he turned up.
Yeah, and then he says, Dello, okay. Yeah, there you are.
Did you hear that?
I know I heard it, yeah. I'm sure he's heard it. Oh, he's probably gone by now.
Yeah, I was only joking, Jim Jam.
Oh, dear. Right.
Look, see what I mean? Look, Del, hope your mom's okay. My mum is all right, yeah. Mom? Am I American?
Mum. Oh, mum. Actually, mum. Yeah, your mum.
Mum. Yeah. What's this mum? Mum, that's American, isn't it?
Your mum. Is your mum all right? Yeah.
Mum is what I call her my mum. All right, mum.
Yeah.
And I know that was a roll on deodorant, right?
Oh.
But it is mum to me. It's mother, mum.
Right. And then as well, he says only the best here. Yeah, of course. He says quality viewers. Rock Bunny says right quality. No,
it says right quality because he's a southerner. Right quality.
Dear. Oh right. Oh dear. And then Stephen Taylor says, do you have any favourite TV shows that got cancelled after only one series? Police Squad was mine. I know what mine is, but I bet Delboy says it because most people do.
What?
Okay, Firefly.
Oh, I've already written one down. But yeah, Firefly, Police Squad, I liked all of those.
Yeah, but that was great.
A little bit later on, there's one TV series that I bet you a lot of people probably have forgotten, and that was Almost Human with Carl Urban.
Oh, I think I've heard of that one.
He was a police officer. He was a police officer that had to be partnered with a robot.
Oh, well, it sounds good. Sounds good. But yeah.
And he was prejudiced against the robot.
Yeah. I'm trying to
but it's got Carl Urban in. How could it lose? But it was made by 20th Century Fox, so they cancelled it halfway through.
Isn't that typical? I mean, there's been quite a lot. Anyway, wasn't the one called 7 Days?
Oh God!
Which was quite good, as I remember. I vaguely remember one called 7 Days. There was a lot of at the time of X-Files, various series that popped up.
Well, there was that Lone Gunman, wasn't there? That got cancelled, but that was shit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
I wasn't sad to see that go.
Yeah. Do you know what it was for me? I know people would possibly disagree, but they made it too comedic. They thought, oh, we'll make it really comedic. I'd like to have seen it being less comedy, but that's how it was, I thought that was their take, that they wanted to make a more comedy out of it, and it didn't work.
Yeah. There was a lot of science fiction stuff that was cancelled after one season that
yeah,
all came out around about like between 1993 and about 1998, and
yeah,
they
yeah,
20th Century Fox just cancelled the lot.
yeah. Oh,
After
actually,
everything.
I've just thought of a TV series that came from a film, which was Alien Nation.
That was brilliant.
Yeah,
TV.
that's it, exactly. I funny after I'd done my rant, I thought, oh, Alien Nation was a good film, and the TV series was pretty good as well. So that is
Danny mentioned that one actually.
Yeah, yeah, I know. But after I'd done it, but yeah, they kept thinking of him. Oh yeah, but I'd say Fox were notorious, weren't they, for cancelling series, as they just seem to do it too much. And he says Rock Bunny says Firefly for me was the biggest.
Firefly is the biggest one, I think.
Yeah, it is,
because nobody understood why that was cancelled. Nobody. I mean, it had a killer theme tune.
Yeah,
it was sort of like a country and western sort of twangy.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and the premise
like, take my life, take my and all this sort of stuff.
It was
you were just starting to get used to what the language was all about. And they go, bloody cancel the thing.
Yeah, they did bring out a film, didn't they? It's like they claimed that the film was that what the fans had made them do and all that, but it was a film, wasn't it? You know.
Yeah, what was it called? Was it like Serendipity or something?
That's right. Yeah, which again, if anybody didn't know about the series, they would have thought, "Oh, what's all that about?" You know. And it wasn't a very good. It didn't do very well, did it? Yeah.
No.
And then Steven Till says, yes, very true. Moonbase 3, Star Cops, and Danger UXB, if we are going back through the years. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I remember Moonbase 3. I remember Moonbase 3. I remember Star Cops. I remember Danger UXB. But Moonbase 3 is probably the most obscure of those three.
Yeah.
Although Star Cops might be a bit difficult. I don't know.
Star Cops is good. I remember it being transmitted, and I was lucky that I managed to get it was on network, and I managed to get the DVD of it just before it was deleted. So I was looking on that. Danger UXB. I have heard of that one. Is that to do with bomb disposal?
Yeah,
experts, I think it is. Yeah. That's probably on network as well.
I think it's the 70s. I think that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
only ever seen it once.
Yeah, I've not seen it, to be honest. I've seen it mentioned, but no. I'm sure it's a network title. It is, in fact, because I've definitely Jim Jam's I think shown it. And UFO, which the second series morphed into Space 99. Both great series, as well loved still, I think.
Well, you could say that about all of Jerry Anderson, actually, because Captain Scarlet only had one season, Joe 90 only had one season.
Yeah.
Good.
But
the live action UFO was sort of like his very first one after doing a failed film.
Yeah.
That had Roy Finnis.
That's it. Yeah. What was the film?
Dark Side of the Moon or something
like that? Yeah.
Other Side of the Moon or something.
Yeah.
UFO was doing incredibly well. It's just that some American came along and said, sorry, we're cancelling this because, whatever reason. I can't quite remember what the reason was, but it was doing well over here.
Yeah.
It got commissioned for a second season, but then the Americans that it relied upon for the money turned around and said, we don't want a second season. It's died a death towards the end or something.
Yeah.
But unbeknown to anybody, I think it was, they'd moved the time slot.
Yeah.
And so Space 1999 came along, and again they turned around and said at the end of that, I think it was all to do with Lou Grade and he had conversations with some execs that were over there, and the execs were demanding changes. I think that's what it was. And those changes were something that was really difficult to do. Like, we want you to do a story where the moon is blasted away from the Earth, and the Earth is not in it or something, right? For the whole of the TV series or something. And he's turning around and no, that was it. The moon blasts away from the Earth, and you're on Earth, and you don't see the moon anymore, right? So in other words, it's an Earth-based series that's going to cost next to nothing to make. And he turned it the other way around and said, "No, we're on the moon. It blasts away. You don't see the Earth no more." There.
Yeah.
So he sort of like timed. I know that he said, "I turned the tides on them, and I won."
Yeah.
Because I kept my promise. There will be no Earth on it. There will be no, moon on it.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the moon. You won't see it. I'm actually on it.
I think the good thing we should be thankful with UFO is the fact that they did actually make, because it was in those days, quite a lot of episodes, isn't there? It's a full chunk of episodes. It'll be over 20 episodes at least, I would imagine, easily.
And it always amazed me about children's TV, because when you see Mr. Ben, it only had like 13 episodes.
Yeah.
Like we thought back as kids there was about 200 or something, right?
Yeah, that's how you think, yeah.
And then when you watch Captain Scarlet, you think to yourself, "Oh yeah, that definitely was a full season." Yeah, full season. It was like 35 episodes long, and you're going, bloody hell, they had long seasons back then, didn't they?
Yeah.
35 episodes, and it was like that.
Yeah.
It was huge, 30 odd. I mean, we're not talking like 22 and half a season into the next one and it was cancelled. We're talking, no, that one season was 30 odd episodes. It was like, how many?
Yeah. And
I think Joe Knight had around about the same. 30 odd something.
And with that amount of episodes, then it looks bigger than it actually was, because you can show that, keep repeating it, and it's all right.
Just think about it. I mean, 30 odd episodes. How many weeks are there in a year? There was only something like another 15 odd weeks, and you'd be in the new year. I mean, it was only 15 weeks. It weren't on.
Yeah. I remember ITV though just showed UFO. They really didn't give it much chance, did they? It was always stuck on late at night, and people weren't watching it, were they really? It was like a filler thing. Oh, we've got to fill up the spot late at night. I know, we'll stick some episodes of UFO on. And they probably won't even put in proper order as well. So, a series like UFO did have a progression in characters as well. And if you were going out of sequence with episodes, it's not good, is it? But that's how it was. Tony says here, Mr. Ben should have had a second series. And then Delboy says Almost Human with Cal Urban. Yeah, I really like, cancelled before 10 episodes. And and then Stephen Taylor says, Del, have you heard about this new Xbox handheld? Are you interested in it?
Oh, that's quite easy. That's the Xbox ROG, ROG thing. The Gadget Show have been talking about that Xbox handheld for a while now, and he actually said this week. This is the guy that's on the Gadget Show. That he wanted one, and it's the first time in around about 30 years he hasn't had a day one console. So he actually missed out. It actually and if you go on eBay, it costs £1,000, and it costs $799 if you were to buy it from a shop. And he doesn't think he'll get it this side of Christmas because of the demand for it and all of that sort of stuff. But from my point of view, I don't have a problem with handhelds costing that much money, but I don't travel anywhere anymore. I'm in my house, right? I don't go on the train anymore. I don't go on trips anymore where I have to stay in a hotel and all of that sort of stuff. So a handheld, to me, I'm tending to find I'm using less and less and less of. And consoles that are attached to my TV or my PC or whatever it is, I'm tending to find I go on more often. It's very rare that I'm playing a game and watching a film at the same time. Do you see what I mean? Back as a kiddie, yeah, I was multitasking like that all the time. I'd have the telly on over there, the telly on there. I'd have the handheld in front of me, and I'd be watching 2 programs at the same time as playing a game. God knows how I did it. Right now, I have trouble watching a film without falling asleep, because of whatever reasons, fatigue and all of that sort of stuff. So, am I interested in it? I'm very interested. It's piqued my interest because of the buzz around it. But am I thinking about getting one? No. And got £799 for a start. I ain't got 799 pence, let alone 799 pounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 799 pence. I might be able to get my mum a fish and chips from the chip shop. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, 1 more pence and I might be able to afford the salt and vinegar to go on it. You never know.
Right. This is interesting. Tony says, one of the reasons I haven't yet bought any of the new Hammer special editions
it's because you're a tight bastard.
I have several books about the company, history of filmography, poster book, and a lot of information. And you did send me, I remember, quite a few years ago, I think, a really good book on Hammer. It's really good. I've still proudly got it, and it's a good reference.
He wanted a rant. I've just given him one. One of the reasons I haven't yet bought any new Hammer special editions is because I'm a tight bastard. And I've got several books, and I don't want the books that come with these bloody big tomes that come along. I'm a tight sod, and I don't want duplication. That's what he really should be putting on there, right? I ain't got the space for this shit. And if I did, I'd be sending it off to my mate Ian, who lives down the road from me. So there you are. I don't want to keep giving that Captain Birdseye looking bloody wannabe any more stuff. I want to keep it myself. So there you are. That's why I'm not buying them. Actually, young Frank, the actual that Frankenstein one. Actually, if you look at that, actually, I don't want to keep going on about Mondo Television, but he has done an unboxing, and inside there you just see how the extras are. They've even done a facsimile of the film adaptation in comic book form that was in the Hammer, which was in the Hammer magazine that came out in the 70s.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Now, if you haven't got that, the Hammer magazine, it's bloody worth it for that.
Yeah.
So I am looking at you, Tony York, you tight bastard, right? Get your bloody fingers in your pocket, right? Start getting out that 50 pence that you've been trapped in the middle in the corner of your pocket for the last 10 years. You never know. That 50 pence might be one of them rare ones, that only came out once every Christmas, right? And if you took it into a coin specialist, you might find you might be able to buy it. Because I've heard 50 pence pieces are ultra rare around your area.
Right. Okay. So next we've got Rocket Bunny. So with regard to Doctor Who collections, I missed the first 2 or 3 they did. They were very limited editions at the start, and it took ages to find them on eBay. Now they are popular and much easier to come by. Yeah. I'm sure the eBay.
The only one that was really hard to get hold of was what they called Season 1 if you're in America, or Season 12 if you're over here.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was the very first one, which was a Tom Baker one.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I should have done this one. Sorry, Tony. It's continuing. Well, likely be repeated in the booklet in the set. That's true. Yeah. Also, I'm quite happy with the Blu-ray editions. May get one I only have on DVD if they release in the any in the future. I totally understand you there because I've got.
Oh, don't you're just a tight bastard. I've told you, likely to be repeated in the booklets. You're telling me, right? In the standard edition, you're gonna find a facsimile. You're gonna find a facsimile of the whole Frankenstein comic book that was in the magazines. You're gonna find that in a booklet, are you? Inside a little Amray case? No, not likely to happen, is it?
Anyhow, as we say, I'm saying no.
Tony, I love you loads, you miserable bastard. Right, carry on.
And then it says, "Oops!" Cry Tony. And then and YouTube comment character limit is a real pain. Yes.
I'll tell you. I know what he's talking about. This is what's a real pain, right? You're in a chat like we're in, and you're trying to type something. You've got a really short amount of characters that you have to write before you get to the end. Yeah. Because I tell you what, if you're telling me that comments in YouTube have got a limit, you want to tell Denny that, right? Because Denny writes War and Peace. I have to read out his blog, and it takes me till Monday the next day to get through it, right? I'm reading it out, right? It's like this. It's like, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. I bought this, and I bought that, and I did this, and I went like that. And by the way, here's my question for you, Delboy. And then it's the end. And I'm going, Jesus Christ, I've just spent 25 minutes on you, Denny. Yeah. Now, I know I'm a slow reader and reading it out.
I'm sorry for those people that have commented and that disappeared for whatever reason. It's awful, isn't it? You spent that time and then YouTube or something does something and they just get rid of your comments.
Stephen Taylor's come out with the comment of the night. He's put, Tony York, how big is your collection, or does Ian have most of them now?
Oh dear.
Oh, that's the comment. That's the comment of the night. That is, yeah. Tony York's collection, care of Ian.
Oh dear. And then we have got Wee Bob Art, evening gents for 20 minutes or maybe less. We will see. Well, thank you, Wee Bob Art, for joining us.
Wee Bob Art, he's such a nice guy, Wee Bob Art. Honestly, I can't say anything bad about him. He actually did a community question that I feel bad because I didn't know it was out there until the other day. He asked for 5 weird, unusual things you've got in your collection. And I found out because our mutual friend down the rabbit hole did an answer to him, and by that point the bloody video had been out a week and a half. So I thought, oh well, I've missed my opportunity here. So I'm really having trouble actually getting any content out. I've got to do a video this week for Steve. For Steve, I've been meaning to do it for a week, so that'll be the next one. But Wee Baba, you won't be here now. He'll be gone to bed. It's past 10 now, so he'd have gone to bed about an hour ago.
Okay. And then Tony says, either that or my comments are far too long. Oh.
Yeah, you won't shut up. That's what you mean.
And then Rock Bunny says, hey, Bob. And then Tony says, evening, Bob. And then now I find myself editing my comments all the time. Yeah, I can understand that. Al-Sidi equals goodbye. See you later. Translation for Southern people. Oh, you were good.
I'm an adopted Northerner.
Yeah. You could have put Southern softies, but yeah.
I don't know who that is.
We've been polite. We've been polite there. And then Rock Bunny 71 says, I like Carl Urban so much that unlike most of the gaming population, I really enjoy the Doom film. And Bugger, just seen there is a 4K version. Yeah. We'll order that today. There you are. Yeah. fantastic.
I know. He said he's got to turn away from these things because it's costing him a fortune.
Yeah, it would.
So every time he comes in, he orders about 5. He says, "Bugger, Delboy's just told me about Tron. Now I've got to buy Tron Legacy. So there's 2 films that's going to cost me 50 quid." And then he comes in the next week and says, "Oh damn, I've got to buy Doom 4K. That's another 25 quid." By the time the end of the month's come along, and he's spent something like 150, 200 quid on films.
Right, we've got Rocket Bunny, Alien Nation, forgot that one, awesome series. Owen Davis YouTube channel has done his own A1 4K remaster of the whole series. It's quite impressive. Oh, right.
Okay. Yeah, you might have missed in my blog, Ian, because I know you don't watch him.
Of course.
I mentioned Owen Davis. In fact, it came up as a question. Yeah, I was talking because Rocket Bunny and I were having this conversation. He thought that I had actually converted some myself using AI. Actually, what it was is that I've seen a number of upscaled AI stuff, and I'm only really impressed by people that try it with stuff that was only standard definition in the first place. I've seen people trying to upscale 4K. I mean, I'm going, well, what the bloody hell are you trying to do that for?
What's the point? Yeah.
Right. You know, or modern day stuff, like Doctor Who or something, the latest Doctor Who. Oh, I think I'll upscale that. And you go, why don't you do something sensible like colorize a bloody episode of Doctor Who from the 60s or something, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be something that's been attempted, but you might come up with some interesting result. I don't understand. Anyway, this Owen Davis, he did Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon. He did a pretty good job, but I noticed that even with AI, the smoke effects are the things that give it away, right? Because back in the day, they only had so many colors that they used, and it was the old cell type animation, where you had cells, where they actually hand drew it. No computers used, but
those were the days,
back in the day of Snow White and all that, you know what I mean?
Fantastic.
Anyway, so what they used to do was they used to shade things. I mean, Bob Art will tell you this. They used to use a flat brown with a lighter brown and then an even lighter brown to that and stripple it, right? And that's how you'd make smoke, because they'd use grey and browns and all of this sort of stuff, right? So if you wanted a ladder, it would have been yellow with an orange outer and a sort of like a bright white round the outside of the ladder, and that would make it glow, right? So you're talking about 3 colours, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So when somebody uses AI, it doesn't recognise that you're only using 3 colours. And it puts all the like 256,000 or whatever it is, and it chooses different hues. And you go, there you go. Look, I can tell that. Look, there you are. Right. Because we're talking flat animation style, and there was no such that. Your eyes were being tricked that there were more colours than there were.
Yeah. Oh dear. And then we've got Rocket Bunny saying, I was livid with the end of Serenity. No spoilers, but damn.
Yeah, that's what it was called, Ian. It was called Serenity, not Serendipity. I couldn't remember what the thing was called. It was
Serenity, And then, I have heard this, but I've never really bought Big Finish. They're quite expensive. The Big Finish StarCop audios are awesome. I highly recommend. It has 3 main original cast leads. Oh, that's good. It's got 3 main originals in there.
I'll tell you what's also good is if you go to Jerry Anderson and listen to the Terrorhawks and Captain Scarlet and the UFO audio series. Because Century 21 used to do records in 7.5-inch format, which was like an episode of Captain Scarlet, right? And they've reenacted those.
Yeah,
they've cleaned them. They started off by cleaning them up, and then they've actually got voice actors to do the whole voiceovers again.
Yeah,
and Terrorhawks is using the original cast because they're still alive.
Yeah, wow. That's lucky,
apart from Windsor Davis, and a few others.
Yeah.
But,
That's good. This
They're
is
really good if you can get hold of those.
Yeah. Stephen makes an interesting point here. I don't know. Del, be careful about storing discs in your garage. I did the same, and after a few years, some of my discs got warped because of the temperatures out there, I think. And then you said on the I don't have discs in the garage, but I'm worried about the attic.
Yeah, it's you that started off by saying the stuff in the garage, right? However, I will say this. You can actually wrap your discs with sort of like blankets, but then you have the problem in the summer where it gets too hot.
Yeah,
sweat.
Yeah,
right. So what you can do is you can buy this sort of like thermal type sort of like paper that you can put in between each stacked disc.
Yeah.
And it stops them from sweating and basically keeps them warm because it's like a reflective material. I've forgotten what it's called, but you can buy it from Amazon. You can buy it in strips and you can buy it in a whole roll and cut it and all sorts of stuff. And it's for those people that are keeping things in non-air conditioned places that need to keep their things as best as possible. I know that the only thing in my garage, which I do worry about, but they're perfectly okay at the moment, and they've been out there 15 years, and my laser discs. Believe it or not, my laser discs are in the garage, and I get them out, and they play.
Fantastic.
But they are actually packed, in double thick boxes and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I've got nowhere to put with that. Before somebody shouts down the screen, what you have to understand, though, is, and I've said this a million times, I had a 3-bedroomed house, and I now live in 1 room. I've got no place to put them. If they damaged, they got damaged. There was nothing that I can do about it because there's nowhere else to put them. Simple as that. So I have to live with the fact, well, if they died, they died. Because if I could salvage them, I would. But where am I supposed to put them? They take up. They're the size of a record player, and I've got 100 of them.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Oh yeah, it's one of those problems. And then Tony says, "Cheers for the rant, much appreciated as always."
Tony, always my pleasure.
And then Rocket Bunny says, "Sticks on Radio's Falls, interesting crossword puzzle solutions." While Del finishes his rant. Yes. And then Tony says, "Can't open the wallet. My pet moths will fly away." Oh yeah.
What do you mean, pet moths?
Yeah.
Don't you have to buy your moths up there? I think.
Yeah, and here's the one that Delboy loved. Tony, how big is your collection, or does he have most of them now? Yes, you mentioned.
It does.
Yeah.
I told you, Tony York. He owns. I reckon he's got shares in Royal Mail. I told you this a million times, haven't I? I mean, he sends so much to Ian these days that it doesn't cost him a penny to use Royal Mail to send his stuff anymore because he's got 51% share interest in the company.
And then Tony says, "You're just trying to wind Del up, Stephen. Well done. You've got to wind him up, haven't you?" And then Wee Bob Up says, "No worries, Del. The community questions are open to all, but it's for those that want to join in. I'm still here, but staying up late." Oh, you're staying up late. Well, normally you go quite early, don't you? I realize everyone has time limitations, which I only do them like every 3 months.
So it's because most he's so far up north, there's north like you, right? And there's so up north there's Wee Bob Art, right? And up there, right, he's so far away from the sun that it gets dark at about like 2 o'clock in the afternoon up in where he is, right? So of course he's been in pitch black darkness now for around about 10 hours. Right? I mean, it's as simple as that, because he's in Scotland. See?
Yeah.
See, Scotland think that the sun is a UFO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg was going to make a film about it. You know, he said,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're going to." When I do the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right, Part 2. So I'm going to do it in Scotland, and when the sun comes up, that'll be the special effect.
Yeah. Rock Bunny says Dell's blog is always very expensive.
Is it?
Oh,
What does it cost? Do I charge an entrance fee then? I ought to.
If you had to pick between watching films or TV, what would you prefer? What would you choose? I prefer watching films over TV myself.
That's it. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to let you answer that one. Go on.
Okay, I've got to say, as much as there's been some, well, you know what I love, Star Trek, Doctor Who, and all these, which are TV series originally, I still love film so much that I think I still stick with film if I had to choose. Though, as I say, there's so many great TV series that I've loved all my life. And, you know, the biggest miss, if I couldn't watch any, would be the original Star Trek. Imagine not being able to see that ever again. I'd have the films, which would be something, which would be better than no. But the original series is so good. And, of course, classic Doctor Who, you know, I mean, what can I say? Fantastic. As much as the Peter Cushing films are enjoyable, you never feel they're quite Doctor Who in the same way. You know, I don't know whether that's a controversial thing to say, but I always feel that. I do love Peter Cushing's films, but they're not the TV series. They're really not, you know. So, as I said, I do love films so much. Films, I think I still have to put films over TV, which is difficult, but I love film so much. I do. Yeah. That's my take.
Well, my take is this. What type of a sadistic bastard makes you choose, right, between TV and film, right? Why have I got to be on an earth where some bastard comes along and says, right, I'm going to make you choose between TV and films? Because I tell you what, I could watch TV, right, and a film would come on. It's amazing, right? Because actually they show films on TV. Did you know that? It's absolutely amazing, right? What a bastard you are, Stephen, to make me choose between two mediums that I absolutely love 50-50. Right? There's my little rant at you, Stevens. There you go. See, everybody's a winner. No, I mean, I bonded with my dad over Westerns, and it's no, you know, I've mentioned that a million times. And so, you know, films will always be sort of like very high up, but TV was around when my dad wasn't, and he worked on night shifts and stuff. You know, he was working at General Foods, and he was doing things like 6 till 2 and 2 till 10 and all of this sort of stuff, and sometimes nights. So when he wasn't around, I was watching telly. So I fell in love with telly. So it's a very difficult one, but whenever I put a film on, I usually think about my dad. So I'd probably have to choose film. But I'm a bit like you, Ian. It'll be like, why have I got to choose, you git?
Yeah.
What sadistic bastard you really are? What a git for actually coming out of a question like that. You know, oh, you're on a desert island. Oh, I'm on that desert island again, and an apocalypse has happened. Look, you know. Right?
And they happen to be TV.
It's alternative reality, right? JFK didn't get that phone call off, and all the bloody bombs went off, right? And you've been told that you can only eat one banana or one apple. Which one are you going to have? I mean, well, Jesus, man, what's wrong with you? Why can't you have apples and bananas, you little shit? I'm on a bloody island, right? I can have whatever I want. I tell you what, though, even if I am on this island, I bet you there's an Amazon somewhere.
Yeah, an Amazon delivery, probably. Yeah. Though it's probably not human. It'll be a kind of a robot delivery that'll just appear on the island, with your. Mind you can order, I think, food even through Amazon.
Of course you can.
So you could probably get some nice food still.
No, you can order. You can have wine and everything.
Yeah, you'd be all right, and it sounds quite good if they can get there, get a bit of peace, or from the world. Let's see. Tony says, "Yeah, don't watch live TV now, Stephen. Cancelled the license a few months ago. No doubt they'll send someone to check up eventually. You better watch out. They might be watching this stream." I'm going, "Hey up, who's this bloke? Tony Hawk? Right, we'll be round. You better watch out. You don't know who's
better
watching."
Not cry.
And then Stephen says, "I don't blame you, Tony. Shh. Never say that. Don't use iPlayer, etc. either." Well, actually, if you don't officially, you're all right. But iPlayer, they're crafty, aren't they? They say if you're using iPlayer, then you need a TB license. Cheeky. So, and then we've got a Rock Bunny Sancho. Well, Stephen, that's a great question. These days, I would have to admit to watching more TV series than films. I seem to have more time to watch an episode or two of series rather than a 2 hour plus hour film. That's an interesting. But I couldn't do without my film collection. Oh no, we'd have to take that away. I'm sorry. If you're going to choose one or other, we'll come in and take away all the films because we are bastards, as Delboy would say. So you can't fall back on your film collection. No way. They're going to be removed. Yes, we're quicker than the TV license people. We will be round.
Yeah.
So there you are. No escaping. And then Tony says, "I have some books in the garage and the pages can occasionally be a little warped. Depending on the type of paper used, modern printings are worse." Yeah, they can start.
Recycled, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like 30 days of night up here. Yes. Yeah.
If he was any further north, it'd be Iceland.
Yeah. Great. The cuddly version of Peter Cushing gets another mention in Ian's Rambling. Yes. And then Tony says, "Don't think the Doctor Who films have the Doctor as an alien. Wasn't he just an eccentric human inventor?" Yeah, in that first one, he even called himself Doctor Who, didn't he? He didn't say he was a doctor. He says, "I'm Doctor Who." And I think that's right. Yeah. They're still good fun, though, those films. Tony, Rocket Money says, "Stephen, you got your own personal rant." Yeah, there's always lots of rants here. And I'm blushing now, laugh out loud. And then Del really doesn't like me at all. I've yet to experience the rant. It's my new YouTube ambition.
Oh, I wouldn't bother reading out the next one, Ian. But I've still got to come up one for Rocket Bunny. I have to say he's been coming in here now for a couple of weeks, and I wanted him to get comfortable before I pull the rug out from under him and then start ranting at him. So I'm sort of building up and welling up to actually done that. So
Yeah. Right. Okay.
That's the last comment at the moment.
Yeah.
But I must admit, I mean, it's been a bit of a weird night because I've been sort of like trying to, I've been doing stuff with my mum, you see, for the first 40 minutes. So I really didn't know quite how it was going to work out tonight, because I mean, you know, I've missed the first 40 minutes, but I've really enjoyed myself after that. But I did toy with Ian by saying, you know, I was probably going to ask some questions like right at the beginning by saying, can you guys think of your best 5 performances? I don't know, with Gary Oldman, you know, or something like that, and then we'll discuss those films and say, why is it that everybody's got the same 5 performances? It's amazing, really, isn't it? You know, what is it about the others? But I should have done that right at the beginning. But at this time of night, it's sort of like towards the end of the night, and there's very few probably watching now.
We've got another comment here from Rock Money saying, well, I mean, the false sense of security, right? Okay, so yeah, good laugh there.
Oh yeah, honestly, it's coming. Won't be very long. You have to be part of the gang by me ranting. Apparently,
yeah.
I don't know where that came from. It's just something that started, I think, around about episode 60 or something. I don't know what it was. Probably about episode.
Your rants came from that, definitely. Oh, this is. He says, Tony says, watched an old 50s Tarzan this week with Gordon Scott. Early role for Sean Connery as a baddie too. Yeah, he was good at playing baddies.
I think I've only watched a few Gordon Scott ones, but weren't they films, not TV? Were they TV then?
You know, they could have been. I don't know. My thing was Tarzan was that one. What was his name in the 60s with what was the name of the Tarzans in Ron Eli? Yeah, Ron
Eli did the 1969 stuff.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the only one I really remember. In 60, I think
Gordon Scott did the 50s, 60s.
Yeah, I don't remember those
Tarzan, if I remember right.
Yeah, Ron Eli would be when I started watching Tarzan.
Oh yeah. And then there was there was the little boy, and I think he was called Chai, wasn't he, or something? Chai or Chai.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, it was on a lot, wasn't it? I bet with Tarzan, I bet there's not a massive amount of episodes. I don't know, there might be, but it always seemed to be on. It was on a lot, Tarzan, at the time, as I remember watching it. It was
I'm pretty sure that's a film, that Gordon Scott.
I'm pretty
sure. Yeah. You know when they did all the Tarzans and they said here's the black and white ones, and then there was the 50s and 60s ones, and here's who played those early ones, and here's the ones, and it progressed, and Ron Eli was sort of like the last one, and then they talk about Great Smoke and all of that sort of stuff. I'm pretty sure that Gordon Scott did 2 or 3. And then it turned into a TV series. But I'll never forget the cartoon that used to be on that I used to watch in the early 80s, Tarzan.
Oh, right, yeah.
That was done by Film Action, who did this Star Trek animated series.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. But yeah, Ron Eli. What a great Tarzan he was. And the weird thing about that was I'd watched all of the the early Tarzans, that you saw in black and white, back in like the 40s or whatever it was, the 30s and 40s and all of that sort of stuff, right? And every time I saw Ron Eli in his Tarzan, it's almost like it was there was a town in every jungle. Because there was always some plane landing or something and dropping off supplies or something for all these people that were. Yeah. And I was going, every Tarzan film I've ever seen just seems to have him in trees and some expedition going through the thickest of jungles. And there's every time I'm watching Ron Eli or something, it's almost like he might as well have sandals and everything on, right? Because it's so civilized. There's all these English people and that are setting up huts and all this sort of stuff and trading with tea and stuff from all these people who live in the villages, and they're selling rugs and things. And I'm going,
Yeah.
Never had that in the black and white jungle. What was going on with
No.
that? So I never did understand that. It was like, it must be a really modern day Tarzan, because this Tarzan, I swear there's a till and a credit card reader at the back there. Look.
It could be.
Right. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, it's almost like Tarzan carries a diner card around with him or something. You know what I mean? Or American Express or something. No.
Actually, the more I think about it, that was good about, the film was called Greystroke, was it? Because it gave you the original story about Tarzan, didn't it? I think
it's the legend of Grey.
Because you never got that in the TV series. It was like it was always there. But in that film, we got the origins, and I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Good film. I haven't seen that for years.
Because he was basically a baby that got lost in the jungle, and he was born of aristocracy. And then they found him, and when they returned him back to civilization, he was so feral.
He didn't fit in quite, did he? Yeah.
That's the story.
It was a good as I remember. I've not seen it for years.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. And then we've got here Rock Bunny saying one Slow Horses series is supposed to be very good with Oldman. All right. I'm tempted to resub to Apple for a month to binge watch it.
That's that thing that I was telling you about, where Denny said there's that series that Oldman is in that he said is absolutely fantastic. That's what it's called. It's called Slow Horses. Yeah. He said it was the best thing since brown bread, you know. And I went, wow, don't tell that to a Leeds person, because brown bread, that's sacrilege. You got to have white bread up in North, and you don't have brown bread, all that bloody southern soft shit.
Yeah, actually, no, brown bread, my mum used to get it, but it was like special occasions. It was like, oh, we're having brown bread.
The only thing you like is bloody Hovis or something.
Yeah, I mean, but it was in a small loaf. It was only about this size. It wasn't one of these big ones. It was a little one. Yeah. Aye.
You guys have never heard of Warburtons? Bloody hell.
Warburtons.
I mean, that's southern stuff, isn't it? I mean, Christ, you have to have Ovis up there, don't you?
Ovis, lad.
All that windmill shit.
Yeah. And then Tony says, no, a film, Del, Tarzan's Greatest Adventure.
Yeah, there you are. So it's a film, yeah.
And then Tony says, think he played him a few times in the 50s and 60s.
I wasn't far off, was I, when I said that he played it, I think, a couple of times during transition between 50s and 60s and Ron Eli. Told you that, didn't I? Said I wasn't far off.
No, I suppose that's right. And then Stephen Taylor says, I'll try and get back in Dell's good books by saying it looks like you've lost some weight and now looking good for it. There you are.
Yeah, I have lost some weight. It's called subscribers. I think about 5 left today, I think.
Oh, dear. Yes, I know. Now I knew this might pop up because Delboy did a thing about this. Doc Savage was Ron, or I may be wrong.
No, you're not.
Delboy did a thing with Danny on the Ron Eli and Doc Savage. I remember that. That's a long time ago.
Have no fear, the man of bronze is here.
There you are. What a bonus that was.
That was the amount of people that really slag that film off. But I tell you what, I find it funny. I watch that and I have a big smile on my face whenever I watch Doc Savage, the Man of Bronze. I really do. And it's a shame, Ron Eli, he actually only died about 3 or 4 years ago, didn't he? I mean, in fact, actually, it might have been the last 2 years.
I think it only could even be a couple of years.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned it on this live stream.
Yeah, we did.
Right,
And, and the sad thing about it is that it was about how his wife died, actually, because I think something really bad happened to his wife, wasn't it?
I don't remember details.
I think she was a sports person, weren't she? And she committed suicide or something. I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't remember that. But I just remember it did come up on our live, I think, at the time, yeah. And I know you did that review, of course, with Denny.
Yeah.
Right. And then, it was some interesting ones. Other watches, Up the Junction, of course, 1967, great kitchen sink drama. Susie Kendall, Dennis Waterman, of course, yeah. Great period piece of swing in London. Also, same blaxploitation. First two Shaft films. Oh, and Blackula and Scream Blackula. Oh,
I've seen Blackula. I don't know if I've seen Scream Blackula. I know I've seen Blackula.
That'd be good fun. The Shaft films are great. I love the Shaft films.
Yeah, I've seen the first Shaft. Again, it's always about. Have I seen the sequel? I don't know. I'm not sure, but I know that I've seen Shaft and I know I've seen Blackula. I just don't know if I've seen Scream Blackula, and I don't know if I've seen the second, But
and he says, "Oh, Scream, yes, original Scream's good, excellent. The original Scream, yeah." They've made a few Scream films. I think they made about 6 after. Something like that.
Yeah, we're all waiting for a 7th, aren't we, or something?
Yeah. There's one. I think there is one coming out probably next year. I think. Yeah. Here you are. My ex, this is 20th Century Gaming. My ex-boss was manager at Warburton's, but got sacked after he lost his love. Oh.
I was waiting for you to get to the end of that one. You see, Mark is absolutely fantastic at jokes and stuff. That's right. And I knew there was going to be something at the end of this where you're going to go, "Oh, for goodness sake, I've just read that out and it's got the puns at the end." Look at that. Mark gets you every time like that, little sod.
Oh, God. Yeah. And then,
by the way, Ian, we still haven't helped him find his vampire film set in caves.
Oh,
now he said he was going to communicate with me and give me some more information, but I've with only that little bit of information, it's vampires and it's set in caves. I apart from Lair of the White Worm or whatever it is, or whatever,
is that in
I think he said it's from the 70s, and that's where I'm going. I haven't got a clue.
No,
not by that little information. I probably would have a clue if I had more.
Yeah.
You got to help him at some point.
The only one I can think of, but they're not vampires. No, vampires is a specific one. I can't. No. Then, if I could go down vote live stream comments, I would. That one groan. Oh, right, that's a good one, isn't it? Oh, now this is interesting. Tony's done on Google. Just check. Ron Eli died September 2024, so it was last year. His son stabbed his second wife to death.
Yeah, there you are. That's how that's the sad story about his wife, and it was last year. So yeah, I did a whole big R.I.P., but I couldn't remember what I said.
Sorry, and he continued this. His son, that was in 2019.
Yeah, she was some type of sports person. That's what I know from memory.
I do remember us mentioning it. We did go over him quite a bit, didn't we?
Yeah.
Especially as say you've done your special with Danny, which is quite good. What's this one? Horror of Blood Monsters was set in caves in the 1970s. Wow, that's a great one to mention. Blooming heck. I've not heard of Blood.
Horror of the Blood Monsters. You see, I was thinking it might have been an Italian film or something like that, but I don't know.
It could You could have an Italian one, I suppose, like that. I don't know.
I don't think I've seen that. Horror of the Blood Monsters.
All right. Yeah, it's a
if
good.
If Mark is watching, maybe that rings a bell with him. I don't know, but it was Mark that was saying, "Oh, I wonder if you guys could help me because I've always wanted to know what this film was called that I remember vividly from the." And it had vampires in it, and they were in caves. That's all he could tell us. And I was going, bloody hell, that's not a lot to go on, is it?
I'm just going to do a quick.
Hey, look, 20 Mark's just turned around and said, "Thanks, Steve. You'll check it out."
It says here, Lost Boys had a vampire cave built.
Yeah, but this was in the 70s.
Yeah, all right. 70s. I bet there's nothing down. I bet it's too 1970s. 1970s. No, nothing's coming up. Horror monsters.
You see, the trouble is, you see, because Dracula did travel on a boat to get from Romania or Transylvania over there, there is always some cave involved somewhere because you have to put his grave with the dirt that's from Transylvania somewhere before he can live in a castle or something that's been bought for him or whatever it is. Do you see what I mean? So
right.
There's always caves, but it's just that I think even that one with Trevor Even, that Dracula film that was in 1979 that was quite a good Dracula film, by the way.
Yeah.
Even that had ended with Dracula burning to death on the mast of a boat when he was just fleeing the country, wasn't he? And even then it was. I can see the shoreline and all of that sort of stuff, and it's bound sure to have been caves. And there's probably a cave scene in that.
I do remember this. There is the Hammer film, The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, which was when they've linked up with Shaw Brothers and got sort of kung fu action.
Yeah, I mentioned that to Mark. I turned around and said, "Trouble is though that's a Chinese Japanese type
thing." Temple vampires.
He doesn't remember them being Chinese or Japanese or anything like that.
Yeah, I do remember. It gets a bit of flack, I think, as a Hammer film, but it's entertaining, and Peter Cushing's in it as well. So that immediately elevates it, definitely. It says here there's a film called Nightwing. Anybody thought of that? Nightwing. It says the film is not a traditional vampire movie, but does feature a prominent vampire bat cave setting, which is the source of the creature's power. I've not heard of Nightwing, 1979.
Yeah. But you'll see there's a load of texts that have come up, look, where caves can look like cells, and there's a load of cells in Hammer films that are in castles that live at the
there is,
and all that sort of stuff. So
cheers,
anyway.
Check it out. And then Muckman says, "I'm back." Oh, right. Hello. You've been away.
Well, you could bugger off again. He
says, "I've just watched Kill List." Oh yes, Kill List, proper fucked up film. I'd forgotten about the ending with the hunchback. There's a brutal Hammer scene too. Yes, God, I haven't seen that for a long time. Yeah, it is quite messed up, isn't it? Yeah. A good film.
I can't remember that film at all, so I probably haven't seen it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've not seen it for it's in my collection. I've definitely got that. Yeah. As he said, 20th century gaming, cave rooms were small like cells. Yeah, I think that's true. They were, weren't they? And then we've got Tony here says, quite a few vampire films such as the Hammer ones, have scenes in dungeons of our cellars which resemble caves quite often. Yeah, I mean, most, as you said, most Hammer films always have some sort of scene, don't they, where they're in sort of a cell.
That's why I was saying I'm wondering. I was wondering whether the caves actually were more like cellars, you know.
Yeah.
Because I was when it was first mentioned, I was going, oh, I can't think of many that are on a shoreline in a cave or something. You know what I mean?
And doesn't Frankenstein get sort of woken up in caves sometimes after he's been, he's been frozen inside a cave or something?
You mean after a windmill has collapsed around him that's been set on fire?
He's always, somebody just happens to be digging, or
he's been preserved in mud or something. That's sort of like
because he always. Hammer films were notorious, weren't they? They always had a big fire at the end of the film, and that he'd somehow get out, be left somewhere. It looked like he was burnt to death or something, but somehow he'd managed to survive.
Yeah, but even the Universal monsters were like that, weren't they? I mean, Frankenstein was chased with pitchforks by all the villagers up to a great big windmill, and then he was on top of it or something, and then they set fire to it, and that was the end of him. And then all of a sudden, he was in he's found underneath it in a secret cave that's covered, he's been covered in mud and all this sort of stuff. I mean, they all did the same. Oh, if it wasn't that, the castle would blow up at the end.
Yeah.
That's the other big thing, and the dam that's right next to the castle would have let all the water come out of it. You know what I mean?
It's convenient. Oh, the other thing as well, when the vampire ones, I remember with Christopher Lee, when the sunlight came on, and suddenly it'd be exposed to the sunlight, and it'd end up in dust, wouldn't it? And then somebody might just happen to be there and say, "Oh, I'll just keep that dust." And then they keep the dust. And it's there for next film. Oh, look, he's got some dust here from Dracula. Oh, I wonder how we can get that going again. Oh, I know. Let's get some blood onto the dust, and it'll get him going. And then that's how they always had a sort of thing like that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, it's true. And I always wondered this as well. There's always a stake that somebody's put through Dracula, right? And you've got his skeleton or something left, right? And it's turned to dust, right? Surely surely the stake would have landed like horizontal or something, right? Because there was nothing left for it to hang on to after about 300 years of it turning into dust, right? So there was nothing to pull out. So how does that then make him reappear? Because this is why later on they sort of like did the, oh no, you've got to pour blood on the dust and then it turns him back into a human form.
That's right. Yeah.
So I always thought whenever you take this stake out of Dracula, right? Why does he come back to life? And if you leave him for 200 years and he's turned to dust, what is there left of that stake for it to be held on to him? He must have come back to life just by natural fact that the stake would have just fell on the floor. Or something, or fell at the bottom of the bottom of his casket or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, and then if you want another complication, the blood has to be of a virgin or something like that.
Oh, so
go around trying to find a woman who's a virgin who they can.
You got fat chance in 2025 finding one of them. I think.
They always were looking to add a bit more mythology to the series, but I think they ran out. I think they ran out of mythology. That was the end, because you can only. That's what I mean. People got in the end with Gothic stuff. They thought we can't carry on like this, and they changed. It was, but it was good. And then Tony says, "Never heard of Kill List. Is it a comedy?" No, the one
is it a comedy? Kill List.
And then Kill List poses the question: favorite folk horror. Oh right. Yeah, I know mine now. Yeah. But I'll let Delboy give his first?
No, because I can't think of one. I'm not. When it comes to horrors, I'm not really.
Yeah.
They don't instantly come to mind.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick the obvious one, which is The Wicker Man. I'm going to pick the one which I absolutely have just seen recently, rewatched it again. It's Midsommar. Midsommar fits perfectly into that horror film of folk. It's a brilliant. It's one of my favorite horror films. The more I watch it, the more I see more in it, the more I love it. It's an I don't like using the word masterpiece, but I might get near there with that film.
I would have probably come up with Wicker Man at the end because I would have gone, oh, I know what you mean, right?
Yeah.
So
Midsommar is just so good as a modern film. I think it's fantastic. Well, isn't that modern now, is it? Times moved on, but it's more recent years. It's a great film. What else can I just say? I just loved it. But we'll be talking about that on Sunday. Plug again with my.
I must admit there hasn't been that many horror films I've watched which are set in sort of like fictional villages or something. There's been lots in anthology films I've watched. I remember watching even Monster Club. Right, Monster Club had. All those ghouls, didn't they, that lived in that village where they were they were making a horror film, and he was looking around for places that he could film, and he stumbled across this secret village type thing, and everybody there were actually ghouls, weren't they? And he finally escaped, and then they brought him back. But there's, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to like sort of like folk stuff, because I've got no end of those sort of stories.
Midsommar is also, it's a cult as well, looking into cults, which is always interesting as well. So you're getting a lot of elements put together. But it's just a great film, man. I love it. And scary, and very scary as well, in a way. It's very it's not a comfortable film, was it either? But anyhow, I'm getting carried away talking about that. I better show up. And then we've got it's certainly not a comedy, Tony. Yeah. It's directed by Ben Wheatley, who also did Sightseers. Oh, Sightseers. That's a real.
I've seen Sightseers.
Yeah, isn't that a great sort of black comedy in many ways? Yeah, very good, isn't it?
Yeah, dark humor in that one.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. This bit, a predictable answer, Wicker Man, but not the US version. Yeah. I've never seen.
I think I would have probably come up with. I mean, I did buy the big box set of it after all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So,
but I've heard people talk about the US version, and nobody's said anything good about it. So I haven't bothered watching it because everybody's talked about Nicolas Cage. He's not very good in it, and so
yeah,
that's another thing. And then Stephen Taylor says, "Kill List, is that a recent film?" I'm not exactly sure. I wouldn't say it's that recent.
Is it about 4 or 5? Is it 4 or 5 years? Is it?
It could be. Yeah, it could be a bit longer than that. But yeah. And then 20th Century Gaming says something interesting. What do you think of the Blair Witch Project? And did it kickstart the paranormal channels, or did Most Haunted? I've never seen Most Haunted, but that was a popular series. But hasn't the bloke who was involved in it been exposed as a bit of a fraud? Hasn't the whole thing been debunked?
I've already given my answer to this before.
Yeah,
the Blair Witch Project. The only thing that I can take away from the Blair Witch Project, it was the most fantastic marketing strategy I've ever seen in my life, and I don't think it'll ever be beaten. And that is that it had no marketing whatsoever, and they just used the internet that got word of mouth out for you to watch it. It was like they were talking about this lost footage that had been found somewhere in a forest somewhere, and it talked about this mythical sort of like thing that was good that had gone on, and it was just all word of mouth, and so with no marketing budget whatsoever, and with a film that was made pretty much mostly on high 8 video, you had a film that cost something like £50 or something, suddenly making like 100 million or something, and it's sort of like it's like a textbook entry now on how to market a film. But as a film itself, didn't do anything for me. I looked at it and went, what? What's all this about? Didn't scare me. All I just kept thinking was, this bloody camera's shaky. You know what I mean? Even though, and I am taking the piss a little bit now, but you know what I mean. It was like, so it's a found footage film.
Yeah, I think I ought to watch it.
It's talking about urban myths again, which everything is an urban myth. The Freddy is an urban myth, and all the rest of it. They're all urban myths. Candyman's an urban myth. Blah 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 blah. So I just went. The only thing that you can take away from this film really is just how it marketed it itself by word of mouth on the internet.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I have got it on DVD, and perhaps I should give it a watch, but it's not something I'd immediately want to go and watch, but it's there. Yeah. Oh yeah, he says Kill List. It's about 2011. That's Kill List. Yeah.
Oh right, that far back.
Oh yes, I forgot about this one. I think it's a great film. Blood on Satan's Claw as runner-up for folk horror. Must give it a rewatch. Years since I saw it. Oh, it's a great one. And of course,
Witchfinder General, I suppose.
Yeah, Vincent Price. We've mentioned him already earlier on. I've
got Blood on Satan's Claw because I bought it at the same time as Witchfinder General.
Yeah, haven't you seen it? You have to watch it.
Yeah, I've seen them both.
Yeah, fantastic, aren't they? They're both really good films.
Witchfinder General is one I've seen millions of times, but Blood on Satan's Claw was one that I only sort of like semi-remembered.
Yeah, very good. And then we've got here 20th century Vampire Viagra. Yeah. And then Jamie says, I'm not a big fan of Blair Witch. I personally think it's hugely overrated. I suspect a lot of people on reflection do now. But at the time it didn't seem like that until people went to see it. As you said, great marketing campaign. Stephen Taylor says, I wasn't a fan of it, Mark. Not much happened until the last 5 minutes. Yeah. But man, I haven't seen Blood on Satan's Claw, Tony. Oh, it's one you should watch. It's very good. Put it on your list. Yeah. And then here's the interesting. What's a folk horror? That's an interesting question, really. How would you describe a folk horror? Do you want to have a go?
Well, I always thought of them as being sort of like cults on remote islands or remote villages or that sort of thing. Like it can be anything really, a folk horror, but it's more to do in countrysides or
it's often like close communities doing practices that we might consider a bit strange. They're like pagan pagan practices. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, think about something. Think about something like being supernatural happening in Midsummer Murders. You'd be talking about folk.
Yeah, but it has often got this pagan tradition. It's a pre-Christian sort of thing, like in a lot of horror, you get the sort of good and evil is seen in terms of like devil and all that sort of more Christian things. Whereas,
so would you call Vampire Circus then folk horror?
It's set in a circus.
No, it's set in a village, a Romanian village with a traveling circus.
I'm just gonna mention that there are things in there that are folk, isn't there? There are folk elements in there.
So, like I said, you can sort of like smear Vaseline over what a folk horror actually is. You know what I mean?
It is based on a lot of these pagan traditions
because they only came back to seek revenge on the village because they killed off somebody that was, you see what I mean? So it's a folk it is a folk horror really, because it's
but it's one that I don't think they have done as much folk horror. That's why people, when they ask them about folk horror films, they don't have that many to name. There's a few, but it's not like the other horror genres. Everybody can name lots of them, but I think it's a good genre. I think it's a good element in folk opera, exploring sort of those kind of things of the past, pre-Christian practices. It's often like Christianity trying to impose itself on their traditions, and they don't like that. They don't want that coming in.
I'm gonna have to go to bed shortly, Ian. I'm sorry to say it's 10 past 11 now.
There ain't that much left anyhow. Sorry. We've got he's done Midsommar again, Wicker Man, etc. Bookman movies. The Ritual is a decent folk horror. Oh, that's a good one. I've not seen that one. I've got the 88 films released, Jamie. It's just reminding me to watch it. I missed it on DVD years ago. Linda Hayden, again, quite prominent, as a prominent parts in it, and parts, I know you joke there, keeping abreast of it all.
Oh, bloody hell.
My time's up. Cheers, lads, and chat. Top community you have. Thank you, 20th Century.
I think that's the best thing to say about it. I think we've got one of the best community. I mean, I know that there are other things going on right now at the moment and all of that sort of stuff, and that's fine. I don't give a shit. It's whether the same people that I get to have a friendly chat with every week is here or not.
Exactly.
That cheers me up no end. So
and then
so many people want to cause trouble by saying, "Oh, look at your numbers" and all of this sort of stuff. And I'm going,
I would say to them, by end of next week, well, the week coming, we'll have had getting up to 200 views on our live, which for me, for my channel, is great.
And the other thing is, can those other ones that they seem to keep wanting to bring up, can they comment and say that they've done 78 shows in a row? No, they've done one every 2 weeks, one every 3 weeks, one every month.
They've got no to say. Are they just ripping off what everything else? Anyhow, said Tony says they've released a 4K, I think, but it's got the Blu-ray for about 15 quid. 15's not bad, is it, for that? And then good night, 20th Century. Jamie says good night. Night 20th, and then I might pick Satan's Claw in a sale. Well, yeah, good one. I'm spending your money. Go and get it.
Hang on 20 minutes, and Tony York will probably have one in the post to you by the end of the bloody night. I tell you, he's probably packaging it up now.
What time does the stream start on Sunday, please? Well, it's starting at 7 o'clock. Yes. So we'll be there.
You know what I'd say to that? Who gives a shit? Right. It's on Sunday.
And Jamie says 7 p.m. Stephen. So I think you've probably got the message. And then,
by the way, joking aside, fellas, just to remind yourself that the clocks do go back. So do remember, it is 7 o'clock on that evening. And, so
yeah. Tony says, I think Vampire Circus is more of a folk horror than most of the Hammers, in my opinion.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
And then Muckman says, Ian's bang on with the description of folk horror. I couldn't class supernatural part of folk horror. It usually revolves around pagan worship. Yep, that's true. And then we've got here.
Yeah, that's why there's that special film, isn't there, where it talks about witches, and it starts off really weird, where the bloke and the woman are all bare naked and they're walking up and they're doing a special ritual to initiate this witch's coven thing, and it was a weird thing to watch, and it was like, am I watching a documentary? Am I watching a film here? I'm not. Right. And they had all these people round fires and sort of like and all of this was. That was like it was filmed in black and white, and I swear it was like a 1970s film or something. Was it? Do you know what the film I'm talking about? It's filmed like a documentary, but it's actually a film. It's about how white witches get you into their coven and all of this sort of stuff.
Oh, that sounds good.
I'm pretty sure it was called Witches or something.
Yeah. There's the Witches in the one I know is the Hammer one, but that's set in modern, contemporary at that time, which is she's a school teacher who goes in and then discovers.
This doesn't even have a story. It's talking about how they were trying to initialize these two new people into their coven and all.
Right, yeah.
You had to follow. This bloke had to follow this woman who was bare naked, and so was he.
Yeah.
Over this riverbank and along past this wall, and then he had to sort of like do some sort of like ritual or something over him and all of this sort of stuff. And I was going, this is weird, but it's mesmerizingly watching this. I don't know what the hell I'm watching.
And then we've got Muckman was saying night, Bob.
Night,
good
Bob.
night, all, and thanks. Thank you, Tony. As always, thank you for looking after us all. And then Muckman says, nighty night, everyone. Jeremy, have there been some trolls in here tonight? Not much, I don't think. I think it's been okay. We just had a little bit, not much.
Yeah, we had one.
Just I think. And Rockbun says, good night, Tony, and we, Bob. And then and Muck. And that's the last comment. And good night, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've always, as I say every week, we really enjoy doing this. And it's you lot that make it so much. Our usual gang of people in. We wouldn't have it any other way. We just love it. And, every week we're here doing it, and I won't change it. And so thank you, everyone that's contributed, whether you're just watching it, whether you made comments.
Yeah, I hope people thumb it up and all of that sort of stuff. I don't, it's one of those things where we don't turn around and say, can you thumb it up and subscribe and hit the follow button and all of this sort of shit. It's just, if you're tuning in and you're watching it and you're coming back next week, that's all. Then we know we've done well. That's all I think.
We're quite happy. Yeah, we are. We're honestly very happy. We wouldn't do it otherwise. Let's face it, if we didn't enjoy doing it, we wouldn't do it. And that's why every week we want to come back and do it. We always, it's something we look forward to doing, and it doesn't matter, rain or shine, we'll be here as long as we can. and that's what we
No,
do. And
I hope everything goes well for Ian and McMahon on Sunday. I'll be definitely tuning in if I can. Unfortunately, because I'm looking after my mum, it's not always going to be easy for me to watch things.
Yeah.
You know, at 7 o'clock when, you know, an hour later my mum's going to bed. So
yeah.
You know, but I will be there to support you if I can. Definitely.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You know, even though I wasn't invited, the bastard.
Yeah.
Go.
Rocket Bunny says here, thumbing up is the first thing I do on any live stream. Thank you. If nothing else, it's a courtesy, and thanks to the people like yourself taking the time to stream. Well, thank you for people like you coming into the stream. And
I'll tell you what, Rocket Bunny is one of those. He's like one of them salt of the earth type people. Rocket Bunny is, you know, he's sickeningly sweet that I just want to kick his fucking head in. Right, he's such a bastard for being so nice. Right. Hey, I've started my rant off already. Yeah, look. So if I stay here any longer, it'll probably last into a 5-minute talk. But there we go.
So
I won't do that. I hope that's made him smile that he now feels part of the gang.
Rocket said, "Good start, Del. Needs some work." There you are, lad.
Look, it's only me just starting off with a little comment. You know, you wait till next week.
And then Muckman Jamie's having a laugh too. Right. So everybody, we're going to say our farewells as we normally do every week. So
and it's good night. It's good night from me,
and it's good night from him.
Good night. Well, I love the two, honest, but I always let Ian end. But I always turn around and say on my channel, salute, because I'm a big Frankie Howard fan. So over to Ian.
And all I'm going to say is, I'll see thee again. And thank you. Cheers, guys. All the best and good luck to you. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you.